100.5 ESPN WTLX Monona, Madison.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio, this is your Metro Kia of Madison Sports Center.
Good morning, Madison. I'm Ryan Wollersheim, and this is your Sports Center update brought to you by Ho-Chunk Gaming Madison, home of smoke-free slots and the highest payout percentage in the area. Ho-Chunk Gaming Madison, more spins, more wins, more fun. Milwaukee Bucks down 3-1 in their series against the Indiana Pacers face elimination in tonight's Game 5. Bucks are facing the potential of a first-round exit for the third straight season and have won just one playoff series since capturing the NBA championship in 2021. Milwaukee officially without guard Damian Lillard tonight, who suffered a torn Achilles just 6 minutes into Sunday's loss for the Bucks. That injury could threaten his availability for the entire 2025-26 season and will likely impact the future of Giannis in Milwaukee going forward. Game 5 tips off tonight at 5 p.m. Central Time with pregame coverage beginning at 4:30 right here on 100.5 ESPN. The Brewers breaking their 4-game losing streak on Sunday with a 7-1 win in St. Louis. Their 10-game road trip continues tonight with the first of 3 games against the White Sox. First pitch at 6:40, which you can catch the start of that game over on 1670 The Zone, while the Bucks game continues to wrap up right here on 100.5 ESPN. Then last night, the Packers signing free agent linebacker Isaiah Simmons for NFL Network's Ian Rappaport.
Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealer. Stop into Metro Kia on the east side of Madison or metrokiaofmadison.com. 3-time Wisconsin Sports Writer of the Year, Jason Wilde.
There aren't any Jasons 12 and under. That's a dead name.
Packers Hall of Famer Mark Tauscher.
How many kids do you hear, hey, Marky? It might be as almost to the point of Ruth.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio.
You love that name so much, you don't even go by it.
On 100.5 ESPN.
If you call me Mark, I'm fine. I like my name. I like my name a lot.
The ESPN Wisconsin app.
Wilde and Tausch.
And ESPN Madison on YouTube.
It's Wilde and Touch, isn't it?
This is Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
It is Wilde and Tausch, the Jim, Matt, and Molly Takeover on ESPN Wisconsin. You can find us on the new and fantastic ESPN Wisconsin app. I did hear in the open that Jason Wilde, Mark Tauscher, the normal host of this show, they have pretty boring names. So does Jesse Nelson. Everything about Jesse Nelson, obviously boring. I'm Jim Rutledge. Jim is a boring name. Molly Brown. Molly, how do you feel about your name?
I mean, it's pretty basic, but it's a good name. It's the name on the Titanic.
It's not as good as Maladina Muffin Pie.
I mean, we don't have to talk about that, but okay.
Well, we're going to have to reference what that is in a second. Matt Hamilton,
thanks, Matt.
Olympic gold medalist Matt Hamilton. So Jim, Matt, and Molly, I don't know if you could get 3 more generic names. I think, honestly, Molly, with all due respect, you're the biggest miss. I'm 45. Jim, James, like that's just like an old guy's name. You know, like
True.
Like that, my brother's Bill, my dad's Tom. Like that's just what it is. Matt, at what are you, 36?
Yep.
So 36, Matt still hits. Matthew, it's still the wheelhouse of biblical names. But Molly, you're a youngster, and like Molly's just a little bit like I feel like
Do you feel like I'm an old lady?
Yes.
Well,
What?
it's just a little classic.
Really?
Yeah.
You might as well be named Phyllis.
So I'm either an old lady or I'm a golden retriever, because I feel like a lot of people are like, oh, my dog's name is Molly. Great. I'm happy for your dog.
I didn't want to say that, but that's a common dog name.
Well, your dog's name is Dolly, too.
Dolly, yes.
Gosh, oh my gosh, Dolly and Molly. My goodness.
Look,
You guys
my
could
life
have your own radio show.
Yeah,
Basically.
my life is hard. I got a dog, Dolly. We have a teammate, Holly, and then we have Molly. And I work with both of you, and then dog obviously is in the house. So I struggle with my girl. But for example, my girls they have the throwback name like Rosalie, Rosie is what she goes by. But now that's kind of like you purposely went old, and then Magnolia, Nola, again a little different. So like my wife doesn't love her name. It's Tanya. She's like, it's fine. I guess if I chose a name, I wouldn't have picked it. But like, I don't know. You can chime in on that, 844-770-3776. The Carbus Talking text line. List is more. Do you like your name?
Well, I mean, you look at some of the drafts, some of the like Jackson with an X.
Oh, that's
Hate
very
it.
popular
I hate
in
it.
today's world.
Yeah, like there's some names right now that are
Jackson
people
with an
are
X
just
drives me
Jackson
insane.
Dart?
Especially like 5 years ago, people were throwing Y's into names that had no business having a Y.
Like what? What comes
Like
to mind?
anything that goes IN at the end, like Caitlin or something, it's with a YN. And it's like, what are we doing?
My name ends in an A-N. Thank you, Molly. It's not R-A-Y-N.
Oh, but I was just thinking like.
I mean, if
A-N,
you were
like
born
Ryan.
today, your name would be R-H-Y-N.
R-H-Y-N?
Ron?
Yeah.
Wait,
You're not wrong.
R-Y-E-N, maybe like
Yeah,
Ryan
yeah,
Russillo.
yeah.
It would
that's
be
what I was
some
thinking.
crazy spelling, and they're like, how is that pronounced? And they're like, oh, it's Ryan.
It would be Rian. My name would be
R-I-E-N.
Rian.
Like as I look here, and again, Molly, obviously you just had twins and you got a 2-year-old, but your names, they're more contemporary for your children's name. I don't want to share them if you don't want
Oh, no,
to.
you're good. So actually,
Very popular names right now.
yeah, so actually our hospital, like every year they put out the amount of babies that were born, boys, girls, twins, whatever. So there was 3 sets of twins. I was one of the 3. That's fun. But
Well,
then
your
it says
twins were one of the.
Well, yes. I was the one that had one of the 3 that
Just
had
want to make
twins.
sure that you are also not a.
I am not a twin, unfortunately. I would love to have a twin. But on the bottom, it says what the most popular names were for that year. And my daughter's name, Olivia, was actually one of the most popular ones. So my kids' names are Olivia. And then Luca with a K, like Luka Doncic, because Luca.
Awesome.
As I just pulled up here, Olivia number 2, Liam, Emma, Oliver, Charlotte, James back on the list, Kai.
I dated a guy named James, so it's not that far off. Like,
There you go.
It's not that old.
Thanks. Ava, Noah, James on here again. So some of the names, Kai is one. My wife at times runs an in-home daycare in the summer. One of the kids is Kai. So like that's actually kind of a fun name.
I like that name.
J.J. Watt's kid's name, Kai, I think.
I don't know.
There's
think
some
so.
like Hawaiian connection with them, though, right?
Yeah. I think his wife's Hawaiian.
Or she lived there. I don't know. Something like that.
I don't know.
Ryan,
Why'd you look
can
at Ryan? Like Ryan's the J.J. Watt.
That's what you
Because
guys do with
Here's the
everything.
thing. Whenever I question anything, I just assume Ryan knows.
But
Yeah.
also, Ryan
Yeah,
is
of
like
course.
a walking encyclopedia. He will know the most random knowledge, and
True.
it's crazy.
But like J.J. Watt's
Yeah.
wife's lineage, I don't know.
Yeah, her connection to Oahu.
But
no,
you
I
seem
don't,
like
I
you
don't
would know that. You really seem like you would know that. Easy.
Does.
Yes. You wear glasses.
Yeah, clearly.
That is true.
Yes. Yeah.
Primetime war, Sean behind the glass. Again, this is the Jim, Matt, and Molly takeover of Wilde and Tausch. We got you for the next 3 hours. We are presented by Coors Light. The mountains are blue. You know what to do.
And that's Crush, a Coors Light.
I do have the power, and you can see us on the ESPN Madison YouTube stream. We have someone chiming in here. Jared chiming in. Fair to say my name has been an issue my entire life, not because of the name itself, but the pronunciation and spelling. No one ever gets it right. Honestly, proven
Did you
by
just get it wrong?
No, it's Jared because I've looked at the actual text because the way it's who put it in the talking text line. The hard they put it in how Jared spells it, but like I don't know. We're on the radio. Maybe spell everything phonetically of like, hey, it's Jared, Jared. Like that's how you'd say it. Jared's never going to see how we have him listed here in the talking text line. Can we just list it the normal way to say it?
Well, so I do know Jerry Odd in Canton, Ohio, is well known amongst the Wilde and Tausch listeners as Jerry Odd in Canton,
Jerry
Ohio.
Odd.
But it's Jared.
He seems to be okay with it. Jerry
It's
Odd,
their
chime
shtick.
in. Yeah, exactly. He's Jerry Odd because he's very international out there in Ohio.
Yes.
A worldly man.
Yeah, obviously.
Okay.
Matt. So we've delayed talking about the Milwaukee Bucks as much as we possibly can.
Delayed our depression.
Yes, the Bucks.
Here we go.
Game. Here's what the NBA thinks of the Milwaukee Bucks. Tip-offs at 5 o'clock on NBA TV. You can listen here on ESPN Madison. Pregame starts at 4:30. That's why we are on
Is
early.
it flexed there?
I think they're like, I guess we got to play this game. 5's the earliest, the last.
Wait, okay, I know that you guys just said that my name is old, but 10 out of 10, I will take a 5 o'clock tip-off over the 8:30.
5?
Easy. Oh, my God, yes. Especially today, we're not going to be on the show until 6. Like, I'm in. Count me in. It's over
Sounds
by
like a
7.
real Molly Phyllis take.
I can eat. I can eat my dinner on like my dinner tray
You can
thing.
get your
Oh my
early bird
God,
special before you watch the game?
100%. Like, count me in.
Oh, man.
Because then, how many other games are tonight? I'm assuming that there's at least 2 other games.
The Lakers, I would assume, play tonight. The Warriors won last night. They're up 3-1. But
I mean, depending on the time of month, she might get her Social Security check and be able to
I
go
don't know
out
where
and
you're
check
going
out
with
about
I
that.
did not know where I was like, Matt, calm down. I know I'm a female on this show, but come on.
Yeah, it was for your Social
like,
Security
basically,
check.
Matt wanted to go home early. He's like, you know what? I'll just shut it down. I'm out.
Yeah.
This is too early for me. I'm going to say something preposterous and then go home. Go to volleyball or something. I don't know. So
Yeah.
We want to talk about the Milwaukee Bucks here, and I think it's a detailed, nuanced conversation. But we're on early because nobody cares about the Milwaukee Bucks as far as the NBA. Nobody in Madison, to be honest, cares about the Milwaukee Bucks. They haven't moved the meter in a while. When we try to talk about it on ESPN Madison, it ain't happening.
Crickets.
Yeah. So, Matt, you're a curler.
Yes.
And you've talked about this before, which I think is surprising to people. But can you explain to us the gentleman's game of curling? And if, let's say you are losing, what happens if you're losing, and how can that game wrap up?
So, in my opinion, one of the best parts about curling, and especially if you're on the winning side, it's so satisfying. If you can beat the other team, like, quickly or early, they can just say, like, hey, we see the writing on the wall. We know we're not going to be able to come back in this game. Let's just shake them up.
But what is early? Like, there's obviously not a halftime in curling,
innings, or ends. They're called ends in curling. To simplify it, I call them innings. Each end, they throw all the stones, and at the end of it, you have the opportunity to do whatever you want. You can make substitutions if you have an alternate, or you can call it quits. You can say, hey, guys, we're not coming back into this game. We can quit. So, like, depending on where you're playing, like at World Championships and stuff, since it's for TV, they're like, let's play a minimum of 8 ends or 6 ends.
Yeah.
But normally, like just normal tournaments where I'm out and about traveling throughout the fall and early winter, you can quit whenever you want.
So when's the earliest someone's quit against you? I don't want to know.
So
the
in
earliest
an
you quit.
8-end game, I've gotten a team to quit after 4. So like at halftime.
And what, are you up like 8-0 at that point?
Yeah, it's like 8-1.
Okay. I feel like I definitely watched you, not to bring up anything sore, but I feel like I watched you just a couple months ago in the mixed doubles in Colorado, and I feel like you ended early against a team. You guys were down like brutal.
Yep, and we shook them up. It was actually, I know what game you're talking about too. That was our last game of the round robin. That was to get us into the playoffs if we win it. And we just got curb stomped. Yeah, but that's like, again, that's the beauty of it. I could sit out there for another 45 minutes and continue this death march with an inevitable fate, just knowing exactly what's going to happen. Or I can just call it quits. You know, season's over. We're in Colorado. Let's go have some local fun. Like Meow Wolf. Or whatever local fun you might do in Colorado.
So that got me thinking of the Milwaukee Bucks. And especially when Dame went down and the reports came out that like this is a devastating injury and it's done. So at that point, as a fan, I said, I'm out. Bucks
so
are
you're
doing
shaking.
Bucks are doing butt kiss.
I mean, to be fair, you were kind of out before the series
I had
started.
them losing in 6, but at least I was like, maybe
there's a chance.
Maybe they can make me proud and beat the Pacers and then just go get destroyed by someone else. But I didn't have a lot of hopes for this team, for the Milwaukee Bucks. Dame and Giannis would had just a magical run together. The roster is flawed beyond belief. We can get into why they decided to extend their GM with an incredibly flawed roster that I think if Giannis leaves, no fault or no blame put on him for this because you built a roster that is untenable going forward.
You got to put a little blame on Giannis. He got his coach. We're currently paying 2 coaches right now.
Right. I was saying I'm not going to be upset if Giannis says, hey, man, I don't want this. Because, again, the GM could have said, sorry, Giannis, I get it. But if you're going to stay here, you have to, at least have a better conversation
about it.
Deal with
the rebuild. Yeah.
Or not deal with the rebuild. Like, you want Adrian Griffin, we want this coach. Like, let's have a deeper conversation about it because if that was the case, like, everyone's got to put on their big boy pants and be like, hey, we're trying to win titles. And Adrian Griffin might be a good coach, but maybe we should bring in someone who's a little bit more established so that we feel like we're going from a guy in Budenholzer who was already a good coach, Mike McCarthy type guy is what I kind of consider Budenholzer. Good coach, got a ring, elevates him, but not elite. And the Bucks could have, and I don't know if Nick Nurse would have been the answer or other things there. But to your point, they did kind of placate Giannis as far as possibly picking their coach there. And some of the player moves they did, like bringing back Chris Middleton was honestly one of the worst moves in Bucks history. Everyone loves Chris. He was a great basketball player. When they signed him, he was hurt, and it's only been worse. And then they ended up trading him for Kyle Kuzma. An abject disaster all the way around. And look, that's all you're going to get for Chris Middleton, but that kind of proves the point on the actual contract. So all of that is very, very depressing. Like when I watch the Bucks, you get all these sort of like, There's Pat Connaughton. You probably should have let him go and then brought in another young player, not paying him that contract. There's Bobby Portis, who doesn't play defense. And then there's Brooke, who can't play defense in a system that's not Budenholzer's system. And you watch it and you're like, oh, man, what are we doing here? We brought in Kevin Porter and all his baggage for what? To get some baskets? So, in general, that's all depressing. But then when Dame went down, the Bucks have zero chance to win this series now. And I understand Giannis is the best player in the series, and usually that can do it. But players 2, 3, 4, and 5 in this series are on the Pacers. And that's going to overwhelm the Bucks here. And I wish in sports and in this scenario, like if I'm the Lakers, I'm not saying we're going to pack it in. You got LeBron, you got Luka, you got Minnesota. Minnesota is a little bit.
Don't forget Austin Reeves either. He's been playing.
Yes, he has been playing basketball and playing well. Mm-hmm. And so, but I'm just saying when LeBron, nobody's saying we got Austin Reeves. We can't shut this down. But when you got LeBron, you're not going to shut it down. And Minnesota is a little temperamental. Things can go haywire. Houston, you're a young team. You want the reps against, let's say, the Warriors. The Bucks, literally got nothing to play for. Like, you're not winning the series. Even if you do, you're just getting work the next one because Dame's done. And
you're not beating Cleveland.
So it's over. The season, for all purposes, is just done. So
you're saying tonight's game is pageantry?
Yes, and I wish the Bucks could just say,
shake them up.
Yep, we're done. Thank you. And maybe they get some cash. Obviously, you can't do this. There's money. There's NBA. But this game's on what? NBA TV at 5 o'clock? What are you losing? Like, who's paying for that? So, like, you're not losing massive TV dollars on this. In the local market.
I was going to say, can Milwaukee fans even watch it?
But I was saying, like, you can listen on ESPN Madison, and you can listen across Good Karma brand stations. We're the flagship for the Bucks, so you can listen to it. And if you're a Bucks fan in Milwaukee, you want to hear it and you want to be a part of it. But, like, outside of the city of Milwaukee, who cares? Like, the NBA doesn't care about this game. And
this Pacers line right now is,
I guess, Indiana
juicy.
Cares. But
what's it at now?
It's only at 8.5.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! Smash the Pacers.
That's what I did.
Here's my never gonna happen thought, that if you were just operating in a vacuum of without all the other tangible things or intangible things that matter in sports, I would just, whether I don't know, someone from the ownership group or John Horst, someone goes to Giannis and says, "Hey man, you're not gonna play. It's not worth it. There's no biscuit worth risking it for tonight."
But do you think that Giannis would actually agree to that?
No, that's why I'm saying that this is imaginary, and Giannis would not agree to that. It goes against everything who he is. But the smart thing for the Milwaukee Bucks and Giannis is to not play him.
And you're saying this for injury's sake?
Yes, because you're not going to win, and playoff stats is whatever. You're not going to win the series, which is the important part. And the Bucks now have basically zero value out of Dame, and I'm not trying to turn him into a commodity, because obviously he had some serious issues with his with blood clots and now the Achilles, and we all love watching Dame play, and it sucks that he's hurt. But when you look at it from like an organizational standpoint, you'd say, well, Dame now is basically, I believe next year's his last year, so it's just a pointless asset outside of like an expiring contract that maybe you can get something for.
But I believe he has a player option of like $58 million.
He does, yes.
Yeah, so now even worse. So now you're going to try to trade him. Nobody's going to take him. And now you might have to pick up that player option. $58 million for Dame still. Like, I feel like he probably could get $60 million, and he might still walk out. Maybe I'm wrong, but
what team is paying him $60 million? Yeah, exactly.
Not 1 year, 2 or 3 years. Like, he might be able to get that money back.
And then what? He's almost 40 by then. He's going to be 35.
Chris Middleton got the Bucks to pay him a ton of money, injured. I'm just saying that I went right off him still backing out of that deal and trying to rewrite something. But regardless, Giannis, there's nothing to do with the Bucks this year for Giannis. And so either you need him healthy for next season, so God forbid something bad happens, where you have like him have a major injury where he can't play for the Bucks, or if he says I don't want to be here anymore, if he's hurt, now what do you do? And not like a Dame injury, but like an injury where he's not 100% start the season. And now do you try to trade it? Do you wait it out? Do you have to play some ceremonial games to prove that he's healthy and then trade him for pennies on the dollar because teams could say, oh, he's not fully healthy?
But does his success this season negate that, though? Even if he was hurt, you're still just like, all right, a hurt Giannis is still probably going to put up a double-double.
Every team's still going to try to find an angle. So for me, it's just not worth it. The Bucks are doing nothing. Like, nothing is going to happen. They're not going to win the series. They're not going to the finals. They wouldn't win the next series even if they somehow win this series. So this is not a realistic thing, but in a Moneyball vacuum, take away the passion and all that of sports, you'd say Giannis is an asset that it is not worth risking to play in these pointless games or one more game.
It is, but there is the feeling like if you are like Jim Rutledge and you believe that the series is over, and Jim also believes, sorry if I'm speaking out of turn here, that Giannis is going to be traded, most likely.
Well, I'm saying that this would be the time to trade him, best for everyone, if it doesn't happen at the end of the season.
I'm just saying, like, he should play just to maybe get one more game in Milwaukee. Because if this is your, I hate to say it because it's been
farewell.
If this is your last dance, it'd be nice to have the last song be in Milwaukee.
And I'll give you that. And we'll talk about it more on the other side. I also would hold zero ill will towards Giannis if he says, I'm out.
Yeah.
You guys can't get anything for Dame. Got no other assets. And what are we doing? You can't build a winner.
Not in 1 year.
No, they have to rebuild. And if Giannis says, I don't want to rebuild, I would say, no problem. And if he says, I'm going to stay and rebuild, name the damn stadium after him. Like, he's already going to have a statue. Like, name the entire block. It should be the Giannis block all the way around there or whatever. Because
has to be the first name because Matt can't pronounce his last name.
Exactly.
We all know that.
Where are you guys going? Oh, you're going to Giannis Street. There is no Giannis Street on Google Maps.
Giannis, that's Campo.
Could you imagine Google trying to say that? It'd sound like
Giannis, that's Campo.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. So you could chime in on my wild theory that the Bucks and Giannis would be better served to pull a curling and say, hey, Indiana, thank you. Good game. We're done. Like, we're not going to play. You go ahead and move on. You rest up. We're going to rest up, make sure we're healthy, and we need to start looking into the offseason. So you can chime in on that insane theory that I have, 844-770-3776. That's a Carl was Talking text line. We did have a few people chime in on the name thing as well. Jamie in Orlando chimed in. We named my daughter Kinley, but spelt it Kynleigh. This entire conversation is making me question why I did it that way.
Sorry.
Literally.
Cringe. Yeah, the GH and the Y. That's a move.
Brutal.
Love the name, though. I do like the name Kinley.
That is a good name. You love Kingling, too. And then Yard Possum chimes in, like, to get fire going.
Kindling.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Maybe I didn't enunciate enough there. Did Molly start receiving ARP magazines in the mail yet?
Not yet. Not yet. We're getting there, though, apparently, with my old lady name. Who knew that I had... Whatever.
Well, the Bucks are on at 5. How exciting.
Right. You did also say that you wanted to eat at 5 o'clock.
I'll have dinner done, and I'll be ready for bed by the time the Bucks
Guys,
start.
that sounds amazing.
Yeah,
That
early
sounds
bird
so nice.
special.
Going to bed when the sun is still out is a travesty, Molly.
Honestly, it gives me, like, trauma
Why?
from when I was a kid, because if you got in trouble, you had to go to bed early.
Ugh.
And then, like, you have, like, the blinds closed and the sun's coming in, but you're in bed and you're probably crying because you're in trouble. You had to go to bed early. And so now if, like, I couldn't go to bed, like, that early because it's just, like, I have flashbacks of being a kid.
Were you
and, like,
punishing yourself?
well, you did something wrong. And it's like, now you have to go to bed early. But who goes to bed early in the summer when the sun's up?
Molly.
Molly Brown.
No, you guys. Okay, now you're just nope. You're using my words against me. All I'm saying is that it would be nice to be able to watch a Bucks game at 5 o'clock, and not at 8:30, and have the game be over at 11. That's all I'm saying. I would have loved to watch the Warriors game last night. I'm not staying up late enough to watch the whole thing. No thanks. I'm out.
But don't call me old. This is Jim, Matt, and Molly, the Takeover, Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella today, 855-PELLA-WI, and online at PellaWI.com/radio.
Listen to Madison Money Guy every Saturday morning at 7 a.m. on 100.5 ESPN and ESPNWisconsin.com.
I like to refer to inflation as the silent killer. It's an invisible risk. It's just the idea that things get more expensive over time. You're going to need milk and eggs when you're in your early 60s and when you're in your early 80s. You're going to get a loaf of bread, and it's going to be more expensive 20 years from now.
Christian Finfrock is the Madison Money Guy. Call him today at 208-1800.
The sound of summaries on ESPN Madison.
The 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. He struck him out.
Madison's home of the Brewers.
Fly ball right field. Hit a ton. We're tied.
Catch every Milwaukee Brewers game this season on 100.5 ESPN. Brewers baseball on ESPN Madison is presented by Hard Rock Casino Rockford and brought to you by J&K Security Solutions and Revive Restoration.
Mark Tauscher here to tell you a little bit more about Everlight Solar. We all know that electricity costs are on the rise. That's why you need to talk to my friends over at Everlight Solar. Their local team here in Madison is here to keep it simple. From your no-cost consultation to solar panel installation, the team at Everlight Solar will be with you every step of the way. Not only will they help you save money, but by switching to solar, you're also helping save the planet. Everlight Solar, a proud partner of Wisconsin Athletics. Check them out at everlightsolar.com.
Get ready for the ultimate Saturday night at Hard Rock Casino Rockford. Join us for the all-new Queen of Hearts drawing at 4, 6, 8, and 10 p.m. This is your chance for royal glory. When your name is drawn, choose the right card and you could win a life-changing jackpot, up to $150,000. The longer the Queen stays hidden, the bigger the jackpot grows. Let's Hard Rock with the Queen of Hearts only at Hard Rock Casino Rockford. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or text ILGAMB to 833-234.
Hi, I'm Eric Brown, owner of Siding Unlimited. Siding Unlimited is the proven exteriors professionals for 31 years. Family owned and locally operated right here in Wisconsin. National and local awards proving Siding Unlimited will deliver peace of mind. Looking for inspiration to replace your windows, roofing, siding, and doors? Stop by our amazing showroom at 2018 South Stoughton Road in Madison. And definitely check out sidingunlimited.com. We are Siding Unlimited.
Ben Brust here to tell you about why your next work van should be from Mercedes-Benz Sprinter at Zimbrick European. First off, we have versatility. The Sprinter vans offer 16 body types and thousands of ways to customize that space. Number 2, we have reliability. Sprinter's most powerful diesel engines last longer and require less maintenance, spend more time on the road and less time in those bays. Number 3, we have safety. Sprinter's safety technologies include curtain airbags all around, load adaptive electronic stability program, and crosswind and attention assist. Number 4, Van Care Mobile. Our maintenance team can come to you with routine service. Who wants to go in? Let them come to you. They work with multiple trucks on one visit. Use the Mercedes Me Connect. And last but not least, get your Zimbrick Sprinter at Zimbrick European at Rimrock Road and the Beltline, or go online at ZimbrickEuropean.com because they never charge over the MSRP.
If you're looking for a special piece of jewelry for any occasion, Condon Jewelers is always there for you. Condon Jewelers has the best selection of jewelry you'll ever find and guaranteed to have the lowest prices in the Madison area. Free shipping is always available. Visit CondonJeweler.com or call 241-3406 and ask for Jim, the owner, who's at the store every day. Shop locally. Condon Jewelers, the jeweler on the east side, the jeweler on your side.
The NBA playoffs on ESPN Radio.
Edwards, right side three. Splash!
The Timberwolves win 2 straight in Minneapolis and take a 3-1 lead over the Lakers. Can LA survive a must-win Game 5?
Wednesday on 100.5 ESPN.
It is Wilde and Tausch, but it is the Jim, Matt, and Molly Takeover. I'm Jim Rutledge, alongside Molly Brown, Matt Hamilton. You can see us on the ESPN Madison YouTube stream. We're in the Everlight Solar studio, and we did talk a little bit of names earlier, as far as we have 3 pretty generic names, and I'm fine.
Boring.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. Molly seems a little bit upset. Speaking of, Molly is revealing herself older and older by the moment. I'm the old guy in the show at 45. Followed by Matt Hamilton at 36, and then Molly's the youngster. Primetime Warsheim. Are you the youngest of them all?
What?
Of the group here?
By far, yeah.
Yes. By far?
Well, I mean,
I thought you were close
by
to
far.
Molly.
I mean, Jesus. I'm 28 years old.
28
My
going
God.
on 65.
Now, to be fair,
Yeah.
Molly, give your full, what you're willing to share as far as, like, you're an old 28.
Do you want me to dox myself right now? What do you mean I'm an old 28? Because I have 50 kids? Yes. Okay.
Yes.
I have 2 stepchildren, and then I have 3 of my own.
So you have 5 children at the age of 28.
Yes. Thank you for making it sound worse than it is. One is 17,
It's
too,
not
so
bad.
you do the math.
It's not bad. It's not bad. But when you say lifestyle differences, you're 28 and...
It is much different than Prime's 28. Prime is getting declined his credit card at Buck and Honey's because he can't
By
afford
the way,
asparagus and
anyone
fish
wondering,
tacos.
25, not 28.
Okay.
25.
Sorry, 25.
Provide a little context here for Ryan. You share the story
You
of
want
Ryan.
me to provide context?
Well, he
or
has
do you want
my
Ryan
first
to?
credit card, and he has a limit on how much he can spend a month. And
Yeah.
he realized he hit his limit, so he had to
While
ask
on
his
a
parents
date.
for a while on a date too. Ryan essentially got a debit card or credit card, which he put in his own allowance on it.
It was a credit card.
He's like,
it's a credit card.
He's like,
He's being
Ryan
responsible.
Wollersheim, you can't spend more than $200 a month, so we're gonna put a max on this card, and you're gonna have to deal with whatever embarrassment if you go over. And man, did you pick the worst time ever to go over your allowance?
It's $500. Thank you. Get the figures right, please.
It's $125 a week.
Thank you.
But to be honest,
I had
really
made some large purchases that month. I made a Costco trip. I filled up the car with some gas. I was
Good, you
stretching
weren't going to
it.
run out of gas on your date.
No, I
That's
was
a
not.
plus.
No, not
Good for you.
on the walk over to Buck and Honey's. I was not going to run out of gas. No.
So
Saving
look,
money.
I give Ryan credit as someone that I was not as responsible as Ryan. So good for him on setting a limit on himself. But
It's more because I got this card when I got right out of college, and I just never went back and got an actual credit card. Not like the starter card.
And here's the problem: once you get a credit card, they just destroy you if you ever get rid of it. So just stick with that card forever and never use it. Because honestly, the second you get rid of a credit card, they're like, "Oh, you don't like us anymore? We're going to take 100 points off your credit score just cause." Be honest. My wife used to work in banking. Get rid of a credit card, and they get you hard. They get in their feelings about it. It's worse than breaking up or with a crazy ex-girlfriend. It's the credit card companies get upset. But Molly, yes. So you have you have twins. You have a toddler, and you have two stepsons. It just makes your life sound so much older than yours is at 28.
And I love being in bed at 8 o'clock.
And so
that is the best. I can just scroll my phone, lay in my comfy, cozy bed, have
Do you
my
have a
water
Snuggie?
bottle. No, I do not. That's way too hot. I have hot flashes at night. I can just scroll my phone, have my cup right next to me of water. I'm good to go at 8 o'clock. I love it. But the realistic of me actually being able to be in bed at 8 o'clock, not happening because I have twins and toddler. So.
And so that does bring Brandon from Tulsa's text. Hey, Molly, what's for supper tonight? Make sure you have Rolaids afterwards.
Beef stroganoff. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know what's for dinner.
Did you
I
say
love
that because you
stroganoff.
thought it was an old?
Yeah, doesn't it sound like an old person meal? Meatloaf?
Meatloaf.
Meatloaf sounds like
I love meatloaf.
I do too, but
Meatloaf is the meal that the unsinkable Molly Brown would have served before she got on the Titanic, without a doubt.
True.
Don in Mayville, thumbs down. Where's Wilde? Be more constructive with your criticism, Don. What is it you don't like? Do you not like Buckstock? Do you not like me? Do you not like Molly?
Jim.
All of the above.
Matt?
We haven't
Brian?
talked any Packers.
We love constructive criticism here. The thumbs down doesn't do anything for us.
He works for my credit card company is what it is.
Yeah.
Sorry, Don. We'll figure that out later.
And we'll get out to Nick and Madison in a second here. But Molly, can we clear this up? If you wanted to watch obviously you can listen to the Milwaukee Bucks here on ESPN Madison or on WTMJ if you'd like, but you also can watch them locally.
Yes, I know that you can watch them on FanDuel TV, as Hawk Hunter on YouTube has pointed out. I understand. I'm just saying.
But
I don't want to pay for FanDuel TV to be able to watch the Milwaukee Bucks because I can't get them on NBA TV.
Let's be honest. And with all due respect, that whole thing is ruined trying to watch whether it's the Brewers or the Bucks. It makes it such a giant pain in the butt. You have to then you have to budget extra money to watch your local team. It's absolutely ridiculous. And I do think that hurts fandom. Like the Milwaukee Bucks, why are you not quite a statewide team? Because it's a giant pain in the butt to watch your game. And people in Madison are already predispositioned not to watch the Milwaukee Bucks play. And now you got to say, I got to pay extra for it because nobody has cable anymore. Who has cable? Just get YouTube TV or Hulu or whatever. So let's just make it harder to watch a team that is hard to watch. Instead, you can just listen to them on for free on ESPN Madison on WTMJ. Let's get out to Nick and Madison. Hey, Nick.
Hey, what's up, guys? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
So am I trying to understand this correctly? You're thinking that it would be in the best interest of the Bucks to just say, hey, forget about it. Let's just call it a season, not risk any injuries, and let the Pacers just walk off.
In an imaginary world, I don't think, obviously they can't do that, but I do think that...
And Giannis would never do that?
And Giannis would never do that, but I think if in a perfect world, that would be great.
Yeah, I was just curious if that's ever been done or if it's legal. But then I just started thinking, like, even though there's no shot that we have any glimmer of hope to win an NBA championship this year, I got to think about just how much money each game these players are making based on their own bonus incentives and just how important that is to them. But that's just kind of where I'm at as far as, you know, each game still matters. And if this is Giannis' last hurrah, I mean, I'm a Bucks fan. I used to dress pretty weird going to Bucks games in high school with socks that were matching colors and, you know, embarrassing my girlfriend at the time.
Love it.
But I think all of us in Milwaukee would just give him a hug and say, go where you need to go, because we have nothing to offer the next 5 to 6 years. We have no picks. We have no capital. Our entire team is old. It's very depressing. So why would he stick around for a rebuild? It would take like 2-3 years, I think. So that's what I got. I'll leave it at that.
Thank you, Nick. And look, and we'll get to we gotta get to.
I don't
Evan Cohen
disagree
here.
with anything you said.
Yeah, like I hope, and I will die on this hill. Like honestly, rename something for Giannis if he decides to stick around with the bloodbath that's coming up here. Because look at their roster. Tell me who is the tradable asset, not named Giannis. We'll talk about they don't have any draft picks.
They don't have their own draft pick until 2030.
And here's the sad thing. To be honest, if you looked yourself in the mirror as a Bucks fan, the only way, and I don't love the Bucks front office doing this, but the only way the Bucks can save themselves from a future of abject disaster is to trade Giannis. Because you can roll Giannis back out there and be a 5 seed again. Giannis is top 3 player in the league. And Giannis is a good enough guy that he might say, I'll do that. And Giannis has given the Bucks more than any franchise deserves out of a player, and Giannis will get a statue. Giannis should be, to me, considered the greatest Wisconsin sports athlete when you consider the fact that in today's NBA, he could have pulled the plug on us at any point. He never did. He brought a title to the Milwaukee Bucks. You have to be more than football or any other sport. You have to be a Phoenix-type star in the NBA to beat the Phoenix Suns in the NBA Finals or whatever it is, but like you have to be like white-hot sort of supernova to win, and they got it, and that's so rare. And it probably, if you're betting on it, won't happen again. So it's really a matter of, like, do you want to have Giannis play out his last few years here and be like a 4 or 5 seed, or do you want to try to reset the whole thing and hope to God you can be Oklahoma City or Houston and accumulate enough picks and do the right thing with them that you can be back and relevant again? Oklahoma City, number 1 seed, and Houston, number 2 seed in the tougher conference in the West. We can talk to Evan Cohen about some of this next. This is Jim, Matt, and Molly, the Takeover of Wilde and Tausch.
This is the Jim, Matt, and Molly Takeover of Wilde and Tausch.
Should I be upset that Chewy has no idea who I am?
My concern is Mark Tauscher is the only teammate who's a former Packer who knows who Matt Hamilton is. Mark Schmerkler doesn't know who Matt Hamilton is.
On ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Your current car, soon to be your old car. A new car? Better start looking. But you've got this, just like Associated Bank's got you with free credit score and score monitoring on most new consumer checking accounts. Because when you know you need to make a big purchase, knowing your credit score puts you in the driver's seat. You've got this with free credit monitor from Associated Bank. See associatedbank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
Every event tells a story, from the first impression to the final moments. Have someone guide your guests through every chapter the way you want the story told. Hi, it's Jeffrey from Celebrations Entertainment. With a strong presence, great voices, and an award-winning team, trust us to guide, direct, and inform your guests through all the different chapters of the day. For fun, memorable entertainment for any event, please visit us at celebrationsentertainment.com. That's celebrationsentertainment.com.
Chevy Truck Month is back. Get more truck for your buck at Zimbrick Chevrolet in Sun Prairie. Right now, get 2.9% APR financing for 72 months and $6,000 off MSRP on a 2025 Chevy Silverado. That's right, 2.9% for 6 years. That really is more truck for your buck. But hurry, offer ends on April 30th. Never overpay. Shop Zimbrick Chevrolet. No down payment required. Monthly payments equal $15.15 per $1,000 financed with approved credit through GM Financial.
Hey, Gina, did you hear about the draft?
Wayne, there's no draft at Pella.
There's definitely a draft. Right, Wilde? Yeah, everybody's talking about it.
Pella windows are constructed of the highest quality. No drafts. But Pella should be everyone's number one pick because right now at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, get no interest financing options or free glass upgrades.
So where is the draft?
Coon. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Certain restrictions apply in 4/30/2025.
I knew that we were going to be getting engaged soon and needed to do some ring shopping. Heard the radio ads of Chalmers and decided, hey, we should give it a shot at Chalmers.
They were just awesome at accepting us through the door and understanding what she wanted in terms of how she wanted it, and they delivered.
Everybody always is telling me how sparkly my ring is. They tell me that they really like the style of the ring and the setting that it's in. I am ecstatic with it.
Thank you, Chalmers.
Jim Rutledge here, and I want to tell you about the Bruce Company, Dane County's premier retailer of outdoor furniture. They'll help you elevate your outdoor living space like they have for me. Exceptional craftsmanship, all the latest styles, colors, and durable materials that hold up to whatever Wisconsin weather brings. From deep seating to dining, pick your set, and the Bruce Company will customize it to fit your style. Visit their furniture showroom in Middleton and let their trained staff help you bring your outdoor dreams to life. The Bruce Company, your outdoor living experts.
It's ESPN Wisconsin's Ben Bruss talking about our friends at Road America, America's National Park of Speed. Get out of your house this summer and go to Road America, located conveniently between Green Bay and Milwaukee and Elkhart Lake. Come see a race at the legendary 4-mile, 14-turn road circuit that has hosted some of the best races since 1955. Spring Vintage Weekend with the SVRA is up next on May 16th through the 18th. Camp on site all weekend and enjoy free admission for kids 16 and under with a paying adult at the gate. Come for the experience and stay for the race. Get your tickets at roadamerica.com.
Mark Tauscher here for Pizza Hut, where Cheesy Bites Pizza is back right now. For just $13.99, you get a large pizza with 28 pullable, poppable, cheese-filled bites. And even better, it comes with the Ranch Lover's Flight, featuring 3 bold new dips: Ultimate Ranch, Chipotle Ranch, and Pepperoni Ranch. 1 large pizza, 3 dips, endless flavor. Hurry in or order online today at pizzahut.com. Only at Pizza Hut. No one out-pizzas the Hut.
The Milwaukee Bucks, the Indiana Pacers, Game 5.
Green fires one up from way downtown, and he rattles it through.
Tonight on Madison's home of the Bucks, 100.5 ESPN.
But, it seems like you're deferring to someone that's not actually on the show. And she's already your girlfriend. Friends are people that you're honest with no matter what. So I'm questioning whether or not you actually know how to be friends with someone.
He doesn't need a pat on the back. He's not you.
Well,
who's a good co-host?
And Evan Cohen, who co-hosts Unsportsmanlike right here on ESPN Radio.
From Madison to the Big Apple, it's time for Evan Cohen on Jim, Matt, and Molly's Takeover of Wilde and Tausch.
These vagabond shoes are longing to stray.
It is Jim, Matt, and Molly, the Takeover of Wilde and Tausch. I'm Jim Rutledge in the Everlight Solar Studio alongside Molly Brown and Olympic gold medalist Matt Hamilton. We are on ESPN Wisconsin. You can find us on the new and fancy ESPN Wisconsin app. Absolutely love it. And we are thrilled to be joined now by Evan Cohen from Unsportsmanlike. You can hear him in Madison weekday mornings here. Evan, Matt had a message for you to start. Matt.
Yeah. Condolences on your heat. I have a feeling we'll be there soon.
Thank you. I can hear us in Milwaukee, too, Jim. Why don't you acknowledge that?
I said ESPN Wisconsin.
You said you could hear on ESPN Madison and ESPN Milwaukee. Why did you not mention Milwaukee?
I don't know. I thought I did. I thought I said ESPN Wisconsin, which would encompass everything.
Interesting.
Yeah.
No, interesting.
Yeah, I got you.
Also, let me just say this, and thank you, Matt. Molly, Primetime, great to see you guys at the Tundra Trio this week.
Good to see you, too. You know what came to my mind first, Evan? Do you drink caffeine?
I have coffee in the morning, and I don't drink soda. I don't really during the day. I'll have water or I love sparkling ice, which I didn't have there. I don't know what I had. Gatorade, Zero, I don't know. No, but just coffee early in the morning.
Okay, I just had to ask because Mel Kiper a couple weeks ago, I believe on Wilde and Tausch, said that he doesn't drink any caffeine. And then, like, when I saw you at the Trio, you're going a million miles a minute. I feel like you're starting your show at 5 o'clock in the morning. Who knows what time you're getting up? That I'm just like, I don't know how you have the energy. So, good for you. That's all.
And to Evan's point, I forget that people are up and about before 7 a.m. You can't hear Unsportsman like 5 to 7 on ESPN Milwaukee. I thought he was saying we as in we're all on the show together. Like right now, Jim, Matt, and Molly, and we're on all those stations. He was specific about his show. He wanted to make his show got proper.
Well, that's right.
Not our show, but his show. So we got it now. All right.
Yeah. Thank you, Jim.
Yes. Evan, I'm very nihilistic right now about the Milwaukee Bucks to the point that in curling, and this obviously can't happen, but in curling, if you were down to the point where the Milwaukee Bucks are to Indiana, you could just shake hands and be like, hey, good game. We're going home. We got no shot of winning. It's over. And in a perfect world, the Bucks would not play Giannis, and they'd shut the whole thing down and tell Indiana, congratulations, move on to the next round. We got to focus on the offseason because right now the Bucks have like no picks. Either at best, they can pick swap with New Orleans. They don't have any tradable assets. And I'm very concerned about what's going to happen with the Milwaukee Bucks going forward. And if Giannis says, I want to stick around for what's going to happen, they should name the damn stadium after him is my new point because the Milwaukee Bucks, to me, are really looking into a dark tunnel, and I'm really worried about the future of the Milwaukee Bucks. Can you take me off of the cliff?
Well, a couple of things. First of all, not to nitpick, you may want to double-check on this because the pick swap would be New Orleans pick swapping with Milwaukee, not the other way around.
Right, that's what I mean. Yeah, so like New Orleans will get the best pick out of that.
So that would not happen. Right. So New Orleans is not going to say, let's take the worst pick, obviously. So they don't have that on their side of it. In addition, I do want to say they may have a 2031 pick. I could be wrong on that. I don't know, but here's my issue. Why would you give up when you have Giannis? Why would you say the best case scenario is just pack it in and give Indiana the victory? Obviously, the Dame news is horrible. It's crushing. It's awful for Dame. It's awful for the Bucks. Not that anyone deserved this, but he extra doesn't deserve this, coming back from the blood clot and then having the Achilles, which likely keeps him out of the majority of next year, too, obviously. And then he has a player option after that for $58 million. So that's not a good situation for the Milwaukee Bucks. Obviously, you feel terrible for the person. But I am never going to write off Giannis. I understand that it seems impossible, and I'm not suggesting it's possible. I'm just saying I wouldn't give in to the just rest him, and go home. If I'm a Bucks fan, I am going to have delusional, hope today. I am going to think, well, get one, Giannis, and then who knows what happens from here. That's where my delusional hope would go, but it sounds like obviously you guys are packing it in here.
And you can hear that game here on ESPN Madison and WTMJ. It's just the team is built to be stars and scrubs, and they got one star left. And you're right. Giannis is one of the best players. You can make a case still the best player in this league, and you always got a shot. They just got no shot at the series, and obviously even if they win this, they got nothing left. And if Giannis gets hurt, now it's just doomsday. And so the Bucks feel cursed. So it really has to do with Dame's hurt. They played 3 games together in the playoffs ever. Everything seems to be going wrong for this team, and the whole season in the last 2 years feels cursed with injuries. I just want to close my eyes and hibernate the next basketball season and hope that John Horst figured something out.
Even next season.
So are you of the belief that Giannis will not be on this team this year?
I would go 60% no, and I would not fault him one bit because I don't last time you and I talked, all three of us talked. You mentioned that the Bucks could maybe move Dame if they felt like they needed to, or move and maybe get some other assets for it. They have nothing they can move. You're right, a 2030 pick or 2031 pick they possibly can move, but there's just not nobody wants the rest of the players on this team, and I don't know if they like Doc. So I could see it being like, hey, Giannis is going to say, hey, I'm not going to force a trade, but if you get a good offer, I'm willing to go to Houston.
Well, but guys, they're going to get a good offer.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's are they conveying every offer to Giannis? Are they saying, hey, this one seems too good for us to not bring to him? Is he interested? Because that's a dangerous proposition. See, I still think, I still would bet on him being back with the Bucks. I think the Dame thing is horrible. When I said that they could trade Dame, it was under the premise of
They gave it a shot. It's not that it didn't work. It didn't work to championship level, right? And they say to Dame, hey, it kind of makes sense for all parties involved. We're going to move you to X, Y, and Z. We're going to get these 2 or 3 guys back, which can actually help Giannis because they're younger, and he can put this other team in a championship window, whatever it may be. You can't do that now. The only way you're going to be able to – there's 3 ways to trade Dame, okay? You're not going to like any of these, but here are the 3 ways to trade Dame. 1, to pay off another team to take him. In other words, you're giving another team the first-round pick that you have, taking somebody else in return. 2, to take a contract worse than his back, right? Which I guess you would say Bradley Beal of the Suns, only because it's a no-trade clause, which he would have to accept that trade. Here's the other one. You want a clean slate? Say to any team that calls for Giannis, multiple firsts, and you have to take Dame. You don't even worry about the players you get back. You're worrying about whether or not the team can meet $100+ million of salary to come back.
So what do you think, Evan? Do you think he's going to be a Milwaukee Buck next year? Is he going to be on your Miami Heat? Where is he going?
I mean, I'd love him on the Heat, but I think that at this point, until otherwise noted, I am going to, as Brian Windhorst, the ESPN NBA insider and Hoop Collect podcast always says, actions over words. Every single action from Giannis has been to stay. Every time.
Yep.
This is not the first time we've gone through this exact conversation. Oh, players hurt. I don't know. Like, how many times has Middleton been banged up where he still stayed? How many times do you look at it and you're like, okay, who's the co-star? And they get Drew Holiday. Or when that's coming to an end, theoretically, they get Dame Lillard. It's going to be really difficult to get him a co-star or stars that match what the Dame combination could have been or what Drew and Middleton were. But actions over words. Giannis has never asked out. He's never tried to get out. So actions over words for me.
Evan, a little pivot here to the Packers. You were just in Green Bay for the draft. Obviously, awesome state. Question, who won during this draft in Green Bay last week? Was it the city of Green Bay, the Packers draft class, or was it Mark Murphy?
Good question. We had an awesome time. Green Bay was unbelievable. Travel Wisconsin, Pick Wisconsin did such an amazing job in bringing our show there and Unsportsmanlike. The bus, did you guys see the bus?
Oh my God, your bus was incredible. I drove past it on my way home.
I mean, I heard you guys are driving it to Texas later this week on your show earlier.
Yeah, for a turtle.
For a turtle.
Yeah, for a turtle. There's a player, the Cowboys draft pick has a pet turtle that they want to try to get to Dallas from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. I don't think it's Mark Murphy, not because he wasn't a winner. I just don't think he was the focal point. And even though the Packers had a good draft, I think Green Bay in the state of Wisconsin was the biggest winner. Because I think, listen, I went to school in Madison. I know how great the state of Wisconsin is. I think the masses probably assume Wisconsin is one thing and don't realize it's another thing. I'm not saying the great state of Wisconsin is not farming and cows. Thankfully it is, right? I mean, there's a great farming industry in Wisconsin. I don't think that people realize how awesome the state is, how big game-oriented the state is, how many big events that the state is. I saw Brian D. from ESPN Milwaukee tweet out something of like, the amount of big events, you can find this tweet, Jim, I think it's fascinating, the amount of big events that the state of Wisconsin has had over the last decade should not surprise anyone that we were able to do the draft the way we were able to do it. And I'm saying we because I'm a Badger, so I can say that.
You absolutely can say that. And speaking of the Badgers, talking with Evan Cohen here on Sportsmanlike, you can hear him on ESPN Milwaukee 5 to 7 and ESPN Madison in the mornings here as well. Jim, Matt, and Molly, the Takeover, Wilde, and Tausch were presented by Coors Light, but Badger football. So I got a chance to talk with, at the Trio Houses, we had some events, and I got a chance to talk with Gary Ellerson, but then James White and Melvin Gordon were there as well. We did kind of a private chalk talk there. And one of the things that, as I was on stage talking with them, and then over the weekend, the Badgers had the latest pick in like the last 15 years for the Badgers in the first round, and actually the first Badger was taken as a former Badger in Chimere Dike. How much do you think Luke Fickell and the Badgers noticed that I guess lack of NFL talent, and how much do you think that matters for the Badgers to get to the next level? Because if you wanted to point to why have the Badgers been bad even under late stage Paul Chryst and under early stages of the Luke Fickell era, you could point to they don't got enough pros. What's your kind of obviously Badger fan perspective and outside perspective on the Badgers needing more pros?
Yeah, it's interesting. So I understand where you're coming from, but I think back to when I was in school, which was 98 to 02. We had so many great college players that weren't household names or decade-long pros and still were awesome in college. So I don't know if I necessarily buy into it. Like, this goes back into what's the job of the college coach, right? Jim, you and I both lived in Florida when Tebow was with the Gators, right?
Yep.
And I remember one of the biggest topics of conversation that we had at the time on ESPN West Palm was about Tebow and his future. And we would ask the question, well, what is Urban Meyer's job? Is it to get his players to the pros or to win as many games at Florida?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Now, you could sit there and say, well, they should go hand in hand at a school like Wisconsin, right? If Luke Fickell's getting the dominant offensive lineman that we've always had at UW-Madison, and they're kicking butt in college in the Big Ten, it is more likely than not that they're going to become pros. I get that. But I could also go through and list off a bunch of guys that were key pieces to the Badger Rose Bowl teams 2 years in a row when I was in school that didn't have pro careers or for any significant period of time. So I think we got to start out with Luke Fickell getting as many great college players before I worry about pro players.
Evan,
I mean, let's be honest. The greatest player in the history of the University of Wisconsin football did not have an iconic pro career in Ron Dane.
True.
Yeah, absolutely.
He was misused.
All
the
due
Giants
respect,
misused him.
He wasn't bad. He just wasn't what we thought he was going to be with the Heisman Trophy.
Splitting carries with Tiki Barber was not the right move.
But Matt, I hate to say it this way. It's not that I don't care, but if I'm just focusing on Jim, just focusing on Jim's question, what am I going to ask for more from Ron Dane as a Badger? Well, his career with the Giants is not relevant to Jim's specific question.
True.
Now, just like Tim Tebow was picked high, Ron Dane was a first-round pick, so they at least showed enough in college where NFL teams believed in them. The fact that they couldn't be good pros, like the Badgers had their best successes when their roster was full of a bunch of undrafted free agents who surprised the heck out of everyone. Badgers, right now, they got bupkis. You got Jack Nelson, Hunter Wooler, who's switching positions, all like 6th, 7th round picks. Graham Mertz was picked before some of these guys. And Graham Mertz
I couldn't believe that. I had no idea that Graham Mertz was on the radar to get drafted. No idea.
We talked with Matt Miller from ESPN the week before the draft, and we asked him about Graham Mertz, and he said he's not a draftable player.
But is that like the Florida effect? I know Florida football isn't what it was, like you were just saying, under Urban Meyer back in the day, but like, is there something with that intrigued?
I mean, but Molly, the best game he ever played was in a Badger uniform. The first game he ever played.
True.
Yeah.
That was pre-COVID, right? Because
no,
that whole thing.
that was in COVID.
Yeah.
Oh.
Was that against?
That was like their 6-game season or whatever.
Oh, and then he got sick right after that, right? Didn't he get COVID right after that? Because I don't know.
Yes.
I thought there was something with that.
He got bad.
And then
afterwards.
it was
awful. I don't know what happened.
Horrendous. Yes. Evan, the biggest story of the weekend of the NFL draft was Shedeur Sanders obviously dropping so low, so much lower than anybody even predicted at all. And I'm curious, what are your thoughts on why that happened?
Yeah, I think there's a myriad of reasons. Mike Tannenbaum, the NFL front office insider, was on with us yesterday and said interviews, like that he's been through this before where he has, let's call it a first-round grade on a certain player, bad interviews, moves that guy to a second-round pick, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That's what it feels like. There's the idea of celebrity status, which is if you think someone is not going to start, do you want a celebrity as a backup? These are ridiculous reasons, by the way. I'm answering the question. But the celebrity status part of it is, I remember Cam Newton said when he got released by New England a few years ago, when Mac Jones beat him out for the job, he said, I get if I'm not starting why I'm not on the team, because my personality is too big to be a backup. And he was not saying that in a braggadocious sort of way. He was reasoning with the idea of, I get everyone's going to then talk about, oh my God, you have Cam Newton as a backup. I guess that's the case with Shedeur, but here's my counter to that. I am surprised. First of all, I think he's in a good spot because I think he has a chance to play. I am surprised that a QB smart team didn't draft and stash him, i.e. Kansas City, Baltimore, Buffalo, even the Packers to some extent.
That's what I was going to ask
He
you.
would have been the first string. He would have been the third string quarterback. You play him a couple of halves in preseason. If you draft him in the 4th or 5th round, maybe you flip him in a year for a 2nd or 3rd rounder, or maybe you flip him mid-season if you need. I'm making this up. God forbid a safety gets hurt, and you're like, hey, this team needs a quarterback. They have a safety. We'll trade him Shador for a safety, and we upgrade there. Because you're not going to – I mean, like, I'm surprised that didn't happen.
So that was what I'm going to follow up. At what point did you start thinking maybe the Green Bay Packers would take Shador Sanders? I saw that Mark Tauscher put it out on Twitter, I believe, on day 2. And then – what's that?
Mark Tauscher is his name?
Yeah, Mark Tauscher.
Unfamiliar.
Yeah, of Wilde and Tausch back. But then also, like I put out a poll question, and Packer fans said they wouldn't want Shador Sanders until the 7th round. So
ridiculous.
I agree. So I thought like anything after the 5th round, if he had fallen to the Packers in the 5th round, I honestly started to think it'd be negligent for them not to take Shador. But what were your thoughts on a team like the Packers taking Shador?
Jim, I don't remember exactly when I tweeted it at EFCO Radio, but I tweeted that kind of thing. So whenever that happened is when my mind started wandering to all the QB smart teams. Like, could you imagine if you were able to get Shador, let's just say in the 5th round, and he's sitting there behind Love and Malik Willis? Nobody's going to say he should be the starter. What you're going to say is, hey, do we have flexibility considering literally we could have 3 guys that could start on some teams in the league?
And then also...
That's enticing for me.
And to your point, and we saw New England do this, like you could draft someone. Well, worse, Jimmy Garoppolo. They had Jimmy Garoppolo for a while as a solid backup, and they were able to get, I believe, basically the same value for what they drafted him in the draft that he traded in. But also they just did this trading Milton to Dallas. So like they moved up. They got draft capital out of it. So I think worst case scenario, you got draft capital.
I agree. I want to. Can I alter my answer on one thing? I was thinking about this.
Yeah.
Matt asked about biggest winner of the weekend.
Yeah.
The biggest winner of the weekend. I've rethought this. It is clearly Matt LaFleur. Now, why am I answering that? Matt LaFleur showed up to the Thunder Trio, and I was gawking at him. This guy is so good looking. It's ridiculous. Everybody is sitting there, and you're like, oh my God, he's like distractingly handsome. That guy.
You know what's so funny? His hair was perfect, right, Evan? And I literally looked at his hair, and my son had a haircut the next day, and I was like, I think I'm gonna ask the barber or the hair cutter to give the LaFleur cut because it is beautiful hair. Oh my, the eyebrows! Like I saw. Remember when Tom Brady said, "Oh, Matt LaFleur spends $1,000 a week on his appearance"? I saw it. It looked like it.
I mean, I'm telling you, Molly's reaction and my reaction was 100 people at least that had the same reaction. I think this is interesting. Could you go into a barbershop in Wisconsin and say, give me the LaFleur? Put that poll question up, primetime. That's a fascinating one. Would every barber in Wisconsin know if you said, give me the LaFleur, how to cut your hair?
So Evan, we have to get up, but you're the guy on hair and looks and all that. So who's got the best hair in the NFL for NFL coaches?
No, LaFleur may be the best coach of all time now. Like it's unbelievable.
Really?
He was.
Oh,
he looked pretty good.
He was so good looking, that guy. I had a funny interaction with him. People were standing there saying, "I can't believe you said that to him," and I was like, "Why?" So I'm standing there with him. He and I are talking. And just the two of us with other people like kind of surrounding us. And I was like, one of my co-hosts in the morning, she's a huge Packers fan, love your team, whatever. And so he says, so are you a Packers fan? I go, no, absolutely not. And I said that right to his face. I said, no, I'm not a Packers fan. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. And then somebody comes over and says, oh, they rip on your team all the time. I said, no, we don't. I said, we just rip on your former quarterback all the time. And he gave me a smirk. And that was the end of our conversation. But what am I going to lie to the guy? So I told him to his face, I don't root for his team. I don't root against his team. and that we're not critical of his team, but we are critical of his former quarterback. Was I wrong to do that? Should I have lied to him and told him I'm a Packers fan?
I mean, Matt would have lied no matter what. I mean, the way he kissed Mark Murphy's butt when we had him in front of us was honestly secondhand
But I'm
embarrassment.
a Packer fan.
But the way you're Mark, you've never done anything wrong ever. I've never criticized you. You're like the greatest president in Packers team history.
Yeah,
That's right.
I can imagine.
that was.
So now I know why Matt included Mark Murphy in the biggest winners of the weekend.
Yeah. I mean, he was. Mark won. You're wrong on your take. You're entitled to it, but you're wrong.
Well, you were not there to see LaFleur. I promise you, ask anyone that was at the Thunder Trio who was face to face with LaFleur and find out what they say.
I think you were right in how you approached it, Evan. He will always remember you for saying that. So good for you.
That's right.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Evan.
All right, Jim.
All right, that's Evan Cohen. Unsportsmanlike, you can hear him on ESPN Milwaukee and ESPN Madison. This is the Wilde and Tausch Takeover with Jim, Matt, and Molly.
The Jim, Matt, and Molly Takeover of Wilde and Tausch continues next on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
The UW Credit Union member Mark Tauscher here. People ask me, old T, why did you join UW Credit Union? Well, is it to keep your banking local? Is it the member first service? Great perks like early payday? Absolutely. But honestly, between us, I mean, it's Bucky. I can't say no to that face. If you love Wisconsin like I do, you just can't pay with anything else. Fandom makes us do crazy things, but this just makes sense. Become a UW Credit Union member and get your Bucky card like me. Federally insured by NCUA. Terms and conditions apply.
Rah. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin present your Badger Minute. Here's Pablo Iglesias.
This Badger Minute brought to you by your Badgerland Chevy dealers, proud supporters of Badger Athletics. Go to BadgerlandChevy.com. On to the Hoosier State. Hunter Wohler now an Indianapolis Colt. The former Badger changing things up. Wohler announced as a linebacker rather than a safety, his position all 4 years at Wisconsin. His words on the new challenge, audio courtesy Indianapolis Colts.
I love being near the box. I love being near the ball. I was able to play all over the field, and I think that prepared me very well. Being able to do as many things as I did at Wisconsin, I think it just gives me all the tools to be ready to jump in with Indy and do whatever I can to help get some wins.
Best of luck to Wohler and all of the Badgers who are heading to rookie minicamp.
Everyone is talking about the draft, but you won't feel one from high-quality Pella Windows. Get no-interest financing options or free glass upgrades today at PellaWI.com.
Mother's Day is almost here, and I've been thinking a lot about all the times my mom went out of her way just to make me happy. Honestly, I've lost count. All of the pickups from practice, help with the homework, the home-cooked meals. My mom is the best. That's why this year I'm returning the favor with the bouquet from the Books Company. And I got you 25% off of your order so you can send some happiness to your moms, too. Books aren't just any flowers. Their flowers are cut fresh from the best farms, so they're bigger, brighter, and last way longer. Some are even grown on the side of a volcano. Wow mom with a bright, happy bouquet, or go for the Books flower subscription so she can get fresh blooms and major joy on repeat. It's also really easy. I pick my bouquet, delivery date, and done. And with 25% off, why stop with mom? Grab some for your wife, your auntie, and even grandma too. Mother's Day is May 11th, so hurry and order your Books now. Go to Books.com, use promo code Canty to get 25% off. That's BOUQS.com, promo code Canty. Books, promo code Canty.
Drum roll, please.
Carbliss is here with refreshing new flavors. Introducing their Tropical Bliss Variety Pack. Let the summertime flavors of blood orange, watermelon, raspberry, and grapefruit whisk you away from the winter blues. New flavors, same great Carbliss perks. Every handcrafted cocktail still has 0 sugar, 0 carbs, and just 100 calories. Find the Tropical Bliss Variety Pack in store wherever Carbliss is sold and enjoy your winter passport to paradise. Grab a pack today and discover why less is more with Carbliss.
Looking to transform your home with stylish furniture and home accessories without breaking the bank? At your local IKEA in Oak Creek, they believe everyone deserves a beautiful and affordable living experience that enhances your everyday life. From comfortable and fashionable sofas and sectionals, to kitchens full of inspiration, to bedrooms designed to help you find your best sleep and relaxation, IKEA's home furnishing combines form and function to fit any lifestyle and budget. Visit IKEA Oak Creek today or explore their collection online at IKEA.com/US.
Celebrate Cinco de Mayo at the Bridges. On Saturday, May 3rd, play in a 2- or 4-person scramble for $120 per person. Includes 18 holes with a cart, prizes, and a Mexican feast. Find more details at golfthebridges.com today.
For official rules and more information about every contest on 100.5 ESPN, visit ESPNWisconsinContests.com. That's ESPNWisconsinContests.com. You're listening to 100.5 ESPN and the ESPN app.
Wilde and Tausch on 100.5 ESPN is brought to you by Everlight Solar. Save money, save the planet. Everlight Solar.
The Jim, Matt, Molly Takeover continues. We are continuing their tradition of being horrible clock managers. I'm Jim Rutledge in the Everlight Solar studio alongside Olympic gold medalist Matt Hamilton, my normal co-host on Jim, Matt, and Molly, along with Molly Brown. You can see us on the ESPN Madison YouTube stream, and we are on ESPN Wisconsin. The Milwaukee Bucks is why we are on early today. I guess Wilde and Tausch wanted to take a day off. We are going to hear from Jason Wilde for a good chunk of change this hour here, so we'll talk a lot more Packers than we did in the first hour. A lot of Milwaukee Bucks chat in the first hour. You can listen back on the ESPN Wisconsin app. But the Bucks are on ESPN Madison tonight, 4:30 pregame, and on WTMJ. And then if you are in Madison, 1670 The Zone, who will carry the Milwaukee Brewers a little bit later. So we had a couple siding and limited poll questions, and you can chime in on the Carbos Talking text line, 844-770-3776. This is more. We had one from Evan Cohen, and we'll get to that one in a minute. But we also have one we put out on ESPN Madison. And, look, I don't think anyone's going to agree with me on this one, but I said, in a perfect world, the Bucks would be better off sitting Giannis versus the Pacers to help preserve his trade value. Now, that's a little bit also, like, keep him healthy for next season. But, like, do you agree or disagree? Adding the trade value is going to get me murdered on this. But whether you want him to play for the Milwaukee Bucks next year or you think he might ask for a trade, there's no good scenario of Giannis playing against the Pacers. Win a game. Congrats. You want a piece of hard candy from Molly? Like,
I do carry strawberry candies in my purse. I'm not gonna lie.
Get out of here!
You're
so
you know the
old.
Kind. You know the kind that actually look like a strawberry on
that
the outside.
Has the filling
I love
oh
those.
my god, they're so good.
They're in a bucket at my house. I don't.
All I need is some Werther's caramel.
Yeah, I was gonna get you some Werther's Originals, and you're gonna be
so good.
Old lady Molly.
Don't knock it till you try it.
How many Fig Newtons are at your house?
I actually do not have any of those.
So when I grew up in Fort Atkinson, there was an old, like, it's just funny how different things are. There was an old lady who lived next door, and I was able to, like, go, and my parents would, like, let me go to her house, and, like, I'd hang out with her and have, like, some milk and Fig Newtons. Like, she was just next door. I moved when I was 10, so obviously no older than 10. I feel like she passed away, and we had different neighbors. So, like, I feel like the ages of, like, 6 to 8, or maybe it wasn't even in school sort of ages. But, yeah, I would go there, and, like, she got company. I think she maybe had I had kids at some point. I had grandkids, so she had like a play set in the backyard. So, and obviously, like, my parents are right next door, but it's just funny. Like, I'd go there.
You were able to get some Fig Newtons out of the deal.
Yeah, Fig Newtons and some milk and play. Yeah, it was
what
a good time.
Steal,
right? I mean, it sets up the human experience that all interactions with people should be transactional. That if I'm not getting anything out of you, what am I doing here?
God, you sound like my husband. My husband says that kind of stuff. I'm like, what's wrong
so
with you?
Brutal.
Yeah, like,
I'm not saying
I talk to people to fill my bucket. Like, I need people.
So transactional.
I guess so. I guess
like,
it
tell
is.
You get your bucket filled.
I do.
Tell me a conversation. Tell me something that's not transactional. That the old lady got attention. She got, like, a kid hanging around. She got to be around. You know, she lived by herself.
The attention from 10-year-old Jim Rutledge.
Right, that's gold.
Jimmy boy.
How much would you pay?
Like, by 10, I definitely was not Jimmy anymore.
Hello,
but, like,
Jimmy. Would you like some Fig Newtons and milk?
Right. What a deal for her. I got Fig Newtons. She got my attention. Like, win.
Steal.
But you know old people need attention. And then she got attention. She lived alone. Was transactional.
Ageist on this show.
I'm not being ageist. I'm saying that was a good thing. She got attention, I got
Did
fake
you get
nipples.
like an Eagle Scout badge for that or something?
I don't believe in those things, so no. Boy Scouts, Eagle Scouts, pass. Hard pass. Molly, do you have a non-transactional?
I'm trying to think of something.
Prime?
Don't know.
I can get the transaction on the other side of this break.
So, again, transactional. He talked to
Poor
me.
Ryan.
He talked to me to get me to go to break. Before we go to break, Molly, tell us about Zoa.
Yes, you guys know that I love my Zoa energy, and like I just said, I have a ton of kids, so I need all the energy that I can get, and I get that perfect boost from Zoa. It gives me the perfect boost without the crash that comes with other energy drink, and the best part about it is that Zoa is packed with natural ingredients like caffeine from green coffee and green tea, which fuels both my workouts and my busy work days. I feel so good knowing that it's all about clean energy. Pick up some Zoa for yourself. Head over to zoaenergy.com to learn more. This is Jim, Matt, and Molly.
Don't go anywhere. Another hour of Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, is coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
To those who've ever dreamt of their perfect event, those dreams are worthy and they are possible. Hi, it's Jeffrey from Celebrations Entertainment. With hard work, passion, and great music, we will make your event dreams a reality. Every event is a labor of love, with one-on-one planning, customization, and flawless execution. Bringing your event to life is what we do. For a fun, memorable event, visit celebrationsentertainment.com. That's celebrationsentertainment.com.
This is Monte Ball.
Monte steps to the right, dashes, reaches, touchdown.
You listen to 100.5 ESPN WTLX Monona, Madison.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio, this is your Metro Kia of Madison Sports Center.
Good morning, Madison. I'm Ryan Wollersheim, and this is your Sports Center Update brought to you by Goodman's Jewelers, the diamond store of Madison for generations. Check them out at 220 State Street and online at goodmansjewelers.com. While the Milwaukee Bucks, down 3-1 in their first-round series against the Pacers, face elimination tonight. That game tipping off at 5 p.m. Pre-game coverage beginning at 4:30 right here on 100.5 ESPN. That's why you're getting the Jim, Matt, and Molly takeover of Wilde and Tausch this morning. While the Milwaukee Bucks are facing a potential of a first-round exit for the third straight season and have won just one playoff series since capturing the NBA championship in 2021. Bucks also without guard Damian Lillard, who suffered a torn Achilles 6 minutes into Sunday's loss against the Pacers. What will this mean for the future of Dame in Milwaukee as well as Giannis's future in Milwaukee? Head over to ESPNWisconsin.com for all your Bucks news, notes, and coverage. Then later tonight, the Brewers also broke their 4-game losing streak on Sunday with a 7-1 win against St. Louis. So later tonight, their 10-game road trip continues with the first of 3 games against the White Sox. First pitch is at 6:40 p.m., so you can catch the start of that game over on 1670 The Zone. Right-handed ace Freddie Peralta scheduled to make his 7th start of the season. Jim, Matt, and Molly takeover. Coming back now.
Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealer. Stop into Metro Kia on the east side of Madison or metrokiaofmadison.com.
Everybody's ego takes a shot on this show.
You gotta keep your chill with Jim, Matt, and Molly.
I am savage.
So you're not special.
Jim, if we want to play this game, we can play this game.
And I'm just like, oh my God, this guy's going to swing on Jim. He's a complicated fellow.
People like me.
I don't think so.
This is the Jim, Matt, and Molly Takeover, presented by Coors Light on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
We're learning a lot about each other.
We got Homer, Matt Hamilton.
Yeah.
We have
Pessimist Molly.
No. Realist.
and then Contrarian.
Total. Yeah.
Jim Rutledge here.
Jim's an onion. You got to
So-
peel back the layers to get to the good part.
Love, Goff, and Darnold are unique names. Williams is a very generic name.
Almost as generic as Brown. I totally understand.
Could it be possible you guys are the best show in ESPN Wisconsin, the whole state?
Yeah, obviously. It's
possible. Anything's
possible. You're the best.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio in downtown Madison, alongside gold medalist Matt Hamilton and downtown Molly Brown, here's Jim Rutledge.
It is Wilde and Tausch, the Jim, Matt, and Molly takeover. I am Jim Rutledge. We are the normal host of Jim, Matt, and Molly, weekdays 4 to 6 on ESPN Madison. We are taking over for Wilde and Tausch. They get the day off. I'm not exactly sure why. Wilde's going to be joining us in a little bit, but I'll take it. I like the earlier time slot. I like the being able to be on and in Madison, Milwaukee, and Beaver Dam. We are on early. The Bucks take on the Pacers. A 4:30 pregame here on ESPN Madison and a WTMJ in Milwaukee. And if you are in the Madison area, we obviously you're home in the Milwaukee Brewers. But today's game against the White Sox, 7-win White Sox. So good God, you better win that game. We'll be on 1670 The Zone. Matt Hamilton, Olympic gold medalist, and Molly Brown with me. You can see us on the ESPN Madison YouTube stream. You can get into the show on the Cardinals Talking text line 844-770-3776. List is more. We have a few Siding Limited poll questions. The one that Evan Cohen asked when he was on, inspired by Molly Brown, you took one of your sons in for a haircut, and you were tempted to ask for a LaFleur. So the question was, would the barber know what you mean if you asked to get a LaFleur cut in the state of Wisconsin? And I would say probably, depending on, I feel like he's been around long enough. I don't think his hair is famous. Like you could have called it just generic guy in his 40s cut. Like it's a very common cut, but LaFleur looks really good with it. It is very, what's the word? Like edged and kind of cut tight, and it's got the part. It's a very modern guy for his age haircut. It's not anything extraordinary. It's not like, Matt Hamilton, when he wants to, can have great hair. You got the, for me, I'm.
When he wants
what are you
to.
saying?
Well, right now it's just kind of pulled up. But if you, when you're out curling.
I think the man bun looks great.
In the Olympics. Yeah. So, if I had my choice and I'm someone with less hair, I would rock Matt Hamilton's hair. If I had, truly great hair, in my opinion, is hair like Matt Hamilton has. And maybe we can ask that as another poll question. Who has better hair, Matt Hamilton or Matt LaFleur? Because if I was just allowed to pick a head of hair, and I at one point had enough hair to have long hair, long hair is a flex. Long, thick hair for a guy is a flex.
I'm just picturing you with long hair right now.
Yeah. It's
not that pretty.
It's not. But I did look good with it. It was a good look. But it's a flex though.
It's a flex
to be able to grow long hair that looks good, and Greg Scalzo out for a while. Matt LaFleur's cut is a good cut, but most people can get that cut and look good with it. Most people cannot grow long hair as a guy and have it look good. And so I'm always more Pete Carroll's got impressive hair to me. Rex Ryan back in the day, having that long hair is impressive to me. That's a flex.
Yeah.
Matt LaFleur's got the same cut that I feel 60% of male Packer fans have.
I think if it looks good on you having long hair, it's a flex. But if it's you just look like you have long hair and you should probably just cut it, not a flex. Also, Josh DiMaggio chimes in and said that it's called lined up.
Lined up, that's what I was
So I believe, and I have no idea, but if I'm making assumptions, I think that Matt LaFleur is probably getting his hair cut every 3 days or so. That is how
I was gonna say once a week.
It is.
And how expensive do you think that cut is?
Oh, I mean, there's places around here that you're paying. Probably.
If not, he brings a barber in to Lambeau.
I'm sure
sure.
Do. I know Chicago's talked about it for they have a team barber they bring in for the players at least during the season.
How much do you guys pay for? Well, Matt, I guess you don't pay for haircuts, but Jim,
No, I don't.
$50 for a guy's haircut?
So I adjusted. I found a place in Oregon. They were up for Best of Madison, just like we're up for Best of Madison for radio teams. So I found them in Oregon, and I go there. So now I only pay $30 with tip. I was paying, I think, $50 to $60 with tip.
So I would assume if Matt LaFleur's having somebody come in, it's got to be at least $100.
That's kind of what I was thinking. $100 a cut, not including tip.
And he might get his eyebrows waxed each time too. I'm not sure. Or threaded. I did that the other week. Oh my God, hurt.
Okay.
One time I went to a real salon and got an adult haircut. They did the normally I just go to a cost cutters or just buzz it down and we'll grow it out again. I'm not looking for a style. One time I actually got it styled by a real barber, a stylist, if you will. Yeah. And I had the shave, the hot lather and everything like that. $100.
Easy. Yeah.
And that was 2018. So I'm sure LaFleur is paying.
It's $1 million now with tariffs. So with before we take a break, get to Jason. What's threading?
So I don't really know.
You're just do it.
No, I've gotten it done before, but I hadn't gotten my eyebrows done in literally a year. I know it's crazy, but I have very blonde hair, so it doesn't matter. You can't see all my hair, but I can. So I got them done, and I think what they do is literally take a string and go tie a knot, lasso your hairs, and pull out each individual hair. I think that's how they do it. I have no idea, but they did it in 5 minutes, and I was out. But I was crying during it. And I've been getting my eyebrows waxed since I was in 8th grade. So I think I was 13, 14, whatever it is. And like at this point, I'm a champ, even though my skin turns red every single time. But oh my God, I was literally crying. The girl had to stop and she was like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine." But it's like, not your fault. It hurts. But that's what they do. They lasso your hairs off your eye.
LaFleur's getting
he might.
Stitched? What's the word?
I mean, not stitched, threaded.
Threaded, that's it.
Stitched is something else, I think. But yeah.
Different issues. So John Adias does chime in, Badger Volleyball, play-by-play. He says having long hair, and he does have great hair as well, but I think he also had longer hair. It gets old after a while having to wash it.
Yeah, it's a pain.
All right. This is, we'll ask Wilde. I feel like, he might have an opinion on hair. We have Jason Wilde coming up for a couple segments here. This is the Jim, Matt, and Molly Takeover, Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella today, 855-PELLA-WI, and online at PellaWI.com/radio.
Hey, Gina, did you hear about the draft?
Wayne, there's no draft at Pella.
There's definitely a draft. Right, Wilde? Yeah, everybody's talking about it.
Pella windows are constructed of the highest quality. No drafts. But Pella should be everyone's number one pick because right now at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, get no interest financing options or free glass upgrades.
So where is the draft?
Coon. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Certain restrictions apply in Sport 30-2025.
From color-changing Alexandrite to shimmering zircon and everything in between at Chalmers Jewelers, you'll find high-quality, affordable, one-of-a-kind pieces. We source straight from the gem cutters and we manufacture in-house from start to finish. As the manufacturer, we believe in truth in pricing. Never pay more for quality and stunning, beautiful jewelry. She's one of a kind, and so should her jewelry be. While others may send your jewelry dreams to someone else to make, with us, your dreams become reality with the help of our custom jewelers, with you involved the whole way. With a staff that has over 200 years of combined experience, why buy from a place that marks up jewelry made by the thousands? When you can buy direct from Chalmers for that one-of-a-kind piece that is better quality, often for less.
Chalmers Jewelers in Middleton
and Madison.
Celebrate Cinco de Mayo at the Bridges. On Saturday, May 3rd, play in a 2 or 4 person scramble for $120 per person. Includes 18 holes with a cart, prizes, and a Mexican feast. Find more details at golfthebridges.com today.
Hey, it's Riley Yauk. Stay in the know on area high school sports and follow ESPN Madison on social media for Prep Mania on Deck, each week's preview for the top games and events. Prep Mania on Deck is brought to you by Zimbrick Honda, a proud supporter of high school sports and local communities.
The Bucky Badger Student Mascot Fund was created to support the amazing student athletes who bring the best mascot in the world to life.
My name is Jake Huser. I was Bucky from 2021 to 2024, and my favorite memory of being Bucky was winning a national championship with both volleyball in 2021 and women's hockey in 2023.
Your donation will help fund new scholarships to ensure that the rich tradition of Bucky lives on. Learn more at supportbucky.org. That's supportbucky.org.
Join the Madison Money Guy, Christian Finfrock, for Retirement Income Strategies, Saturday and Sunday mornings at 7. Get the information you need as you plan for retirement. That's Retirement Income Strategies, Saturday and Sunday mornings at 7. Investment advisory services offer the Retirement Income Strategies, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End of friendship. Or choose chill because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Greg Scalzo here for Buckin' Honeys. Congratulations to the perennial Best of Madison Award winner by the folks at Madison Magazine. Meet me at Buckin' Honeys to celebrate Wisconsin hospitality. Whether you're enjoying the view on the Yahara River in Monona, exploring Wanakee, visiting the OG in Sun Prairie, or checking out the new location in Mount Horeb, you can enjoy the Buckin' Honeys experience in a neighborhood near you. Serving lunch and dinner 7 days a week with brunch every Saturday and Sunday. I'll see you at Buckin' Honeys.
Waiting to see a general surgeon? With Stoughton Health, it's always easy access, with most appointments within a week. And with over 160 insurances accepted, you're covered and in good hands. For more information, visit stoughtonhealth.com. Stoughton Health, creating excellence together.
On the air, on demand, on social, on Wisconsin Sports. Serving Wisconsin sports fans. This is 100.5 ESPN.
Jason, quick
You
question.
are one of one.
3-time Wisconsin Sports Writer of the Year.
Help me understand a little bit more clearly what you're asking.
Did you ever hear it called "Don't Go Jason Waterfalls"?
Is this Matt Hamilton?
I say that so helplessly, but like I feel like it.
Desperate sound in your voice.
I am.
Jason Wilde is on Jim, Matt, and Molly's takeover of Wilde and Tausch.
What's up with that? 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 What's up with that?
What's up with that? That is Jason Wilde's theme music on Jim, Matt, and Molly when he joins the show. But this is his show. It is Wilde and Tausch. It is the Jim, Matt, and Molly takeover of Wilde and Tausch. Matt Hamilton, Olympic gold medalist. I am Jim Rutledge, Molly Brown with you. And we are in the Everlight Solar studio with Primetime Wollersheim. And I was informed, Jason, that you were at least listening a little bit to the last segment here. And Evan Cohen joined us earlier. And you missed any of today's show, you can listen back on the new ESPN Wisconsin app. But he prompted us to ask the question that if you went to a barber in Wisconsin and asked for a LaFleur, would they know what it is? So, because that was Evan's biggest takeaway, that Matt LaFleur won the weekend because he had great hair and looked fantastic at our trio houses. So, Wilde, welcome, and your thoughts on Evan Cohen's take on the beauty of Matt LaFleur.
Well, I just I'm not going to comment on who won or lost the weekend based on their hair, because definitely I'd be a big loser on that one.
Same.
Especially since when we said, I looked at some of the pictures that were taken of our Q&A session with LaFleur, and multiple times they caught me with this look of like, indignation, like, what are you talking about, kind of a face, which I don't think I was actually making based on what he was saying, but nevertheless, I'm glad they got his good side. I wish they would have gotten my good side, which would have, I think, been from the back. But here's the thing that's crazy. So Tom Brady mentioned this on one of the broadcasts, and I can't believe that he said this. I swear, LaFleur's going to start going to these production meetings and just stand mute. Because remember, there was the story during the playoff game against San Francisco that he said that when Anders Carlson trots out into the field, he prays.
Yep.
Which he said in jest, but Tom Rinaldi took it as gospel and reported it. And by the way, he may have said it in jest, but there's always a little bit of truth to a joke. Then there was the one about Dontavion Wicks, where he told Buck and Aikman flat out, don't say this on the air, but he reminds me a lot of Davante Adams. And, of course, Buck and Aikman said it on the air. So then this past season, he talked to Brady at some point and informed Brady, who is a well-groomed, well-coiffed fellow, that he spends $100 a week on his appearance. And Brady told that story on the air. So I believe he is shelling out $100 a week. So I heard Molly say that he's getting his hair cut every few days. I'm guessing, and to your point, Jim, they do have an on-staff barber. They started doing that when they realized that they needed to be more thoughtful of African-American players, because there weren't a lot of African-American barbers in the greater Green Bay area when I started covering the team in '96. And there's more now, and this is a different city than it was 25 years ago or 30 years ago when I started covering the team. But I am sure that his guy is, I don't know all the hip phrases that you guys were discussing in terms of appearance, but he gets tightened up or whatever it might be on a weekly basis.
Speaking of the city of Green Bay.
It's lined up.
It is lined up.
Yeah, I heard you say that, but I don't believe you. And when's the last time you were lined up, by the way?
You're the least lined up on the show.
Yeah, he's just quoting Josh DiMaggio, who did text in, who will take Josh's word for it.
And I'm also like, I don't live under a rock.
You didn't say it earlier. I'm giving credit to Josh DiMaggio.
No, it's Josh DiMaggio brought it to our attention, but he's right. That's the way you say it now.
No, you live under a curling stone.
Waka waka.
Hey, I love Fozzie Bear now. Come on.
Jason, you mentioned the city of Green Bay. How do you think that they showed out this weekend for the NFL draft?
Well, I'm not a business owner, but apparently, as I've been reading this morning in our various Green Bay outlets, the business owners are pissed because this was a very much a local event. And I said that with affinity and respect and pride of our fellow Wisconsinites and of Packers fans. But I think the local business owners feel like they were sold a bill of goods, that there were going to be, these thousands upon thousands of people coming in from out of the greater Wisconsin area, and they were going to have this great economic impact. I believe it was sold as $20 million for the Green Bay area and $94 million for the state. And I don't think that materialized. I think as I watched, you mentioned being at the Tundra Trio. As I watched fans go by that corridor, it was 85% Packers fans in green and gold. Certainly there were fans of every team that came past, but I found myself wondering during the telecast, did ESPN and NFL Network really have to strain to find fans of each of the 31 other teams to show on television? So I know that they had done. I'm a big fan of the food truck. Although my favorite food truck with Ashton Rotman and Rots Hots has retired with his hot dogs. But I love those. I love supporting those. There's a couple of them at the Green Bay Farmers Market every week. Apparently they did like a food truck area downtown with a bunch of them. And nobody went to downtown Green Bay. Maybe you were staying at the hotels down there and stopped and grabbed a bite, but I was just watching something on WBAY up here. There's all these business owners who were like, that we either got no bump or we actually lost money because we extra staffed expecting it. So from that perspective, that's not a reflection of Packers fans and Wisconsinites. That's a reflection of there weren't that many people that said, hey, you know where I want to go in April for the NFL draft? I want to fly to Green Bay, Wisconsin. So it was a dominantly Wisconsin folks that could drive and spend the day here. And from that perspective, they showed out amazingly. I mean, to have that 600,000 number. Now, again, if Matt Hamilton was one of them and he went all 3 days, he counts as 3 people. But still, that number is a gigantic number considering that the population of the city of Green Bay is 107,000. Then you've got De Pere and Howard and all the little suburbs. But still, really impressive. But the business owners, I don't think, are overly happy.
Well, and I think, was it Molly and then someone else was saying, I think Ryan, that they stopped asking people to count in for the draft, too. So that's 600,000. How many of those are unique? To your point of businesses, what kind of boom did they get? How many of those visitors at some point were no longer unique, that it was someone who came up multiple days, or, they stopped counting people coming into the draft after a while. And so that number could be inflated, like when you go to a stadium and they go, oh, it's a sellout. And it's like, well, I can see it's 90% sold out. But I'm not surprised that it's a very regional one. I'm not surprised Wisconsin fans showed up to fill it. But I'm also not surprised that people are like, you said flying to Green Bay. That's only if you have a private jet. I had multiple players that I talked to that said that, even if they were in this draft, they wouldn't come because what a pain in the butt it would be to get there. And then were you going to fly into Milwaukee? And then you probably still would drive up to Green Bay and drive back because the hotels can be more affordable. So Green Bay was never built to truly hold 600,000. 600,000 coming in and out makes a lot of sense, and that's why I think it worked so well, is that there wasn't 600,000 people there. It was 600,000 people, mostly from maybe probably 90% Wisconsin, a little bit Illinois, and a little bit Minnesota, and that's why it worked. So in the long run, and honestly, best case scenario, because if 600,000 people actually tried to come to Green Bay, it would have been an abject nightmare.
Yeah, and I noticed on a couple of levels. First of all, my traffic snarls were non-existent. I thought they were going to, and I left a couple times because Paul and the girls were down in Madison for a gymnastics meet, so I had to come home and take the dogs out and feed the cat, all those important jobs that I have. And so I would do our show, come home, and then drive back later in the day, and not once, I put in Google Maps, not once was the time in red. Not once. I have a buddy who has 2 kids that are on Maddie's track team, and he drives Uber for like extra money. And he did have Pac-Man Jones for 2 days.
Oh.
But, Pac-Man let him, he's like, well, I don't know if it was like that movie Collateral where Jamie Foxx drives Tom Hanks around. I mean, Tom Hanks has Tom Cruise has other activities planned that night.
Yeah.
But he took other fares too. He said he was really disappointed with how many how many drives he did. So again, I don't want to take away from the fact that the crowd shots looked amazing. But I was a lot like Brian Gutekunst, and he and I don't always agree, but we both took in the draft the same way. We went into Lambeau Field. We did our jobs. He picked people. I wrote about them. And then that was it. Like, my exposure to the campus was looking out the window or looking at the television. I did not, and Paula was giving me a hard time for not even walking around to see it, but like, I was too busy writing the Baron Sorrell life story. I just had other stuff to do.
And I want to talk about him and Golden, some draft gold that was not necessarily planned by the Packers, but we'll do that on the other side because Ryan's yelling at me that we have just ruined the clock. So we'll come back, talk more.
Well, it fits right in on this time slot.
Well, and speaking of fit right in, to the angry folks on social media, we'll stop talking about the city of Green Bay and haircuts. We'll get deep into football knowledge next on Wilde and Tausch, the Jim, Matt, and Molly Takeover.
This is Wilde and Tausch, driven by Zimbrick Chevrolet in Sun Prairie on 100.5 ESPN. See their full inventory at ZimbrickChevrolet.com.
Mark Tauscher here, encouraging you to save money and help save the planet by making an energy switch to Everlight Solar. Just like when general managers make big decisions to help propel a franchise forward for future success, you can make a game-changing decision for your home by making the switch to solar energy with Everlight Solar. Our family was looking to make the switch to solar for quite some time, but we weren't quite sure where to even start. That's when we met the great team over at Everlight Solar. From the very first conversation, they educated us on the benefits of solar while also helping keep the process simple. Join us in saving a ton of money and creating a greener environment for our family and the community by switching to solar. Learn more and schedule a free consultation at everlightsolar.com. That's everlightsolar.com.
The Milwaukee Bucks, the Indiana Pacers, Game 5.
Green fires one up from way downtown, and he rattles it through.
Tonight on Madison's home of the Bucks, 100.5 ESPN.
Quarterback Jordan Love isn't just on the Packers. He's also on the American Family Insurance team. Because like us, he believes in dreaming fearlessly.
Just chase your dreams and don't let nobody hold you back.
And we help protect those dreams with the right coverage so you can
dream fearlessly.
American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
You remember the moments from that magical March.
Side Decker, it's a three. Got it!
On June 26th, celebrate the squad with Made 'em Believe, a special night with Bo Ryan, Frank Kaminsky, and Sam Decker.
Here's Kaminsky, the drop
stab,
that's his favorite. And the two.
Presented by Bud Light, Michelob Ultra, Potosi Varsity Ale, and Potosi Hard Seltzer. Tickets are on sale now at UWHoops2015.com. Made 'em Believe, June 26th at the Orpheum Theater in Madison.
At Metro Ford of Madison, you pay what employees pay. Customers pay employee pricing on all in-stock new Ford vehicles. This month, drive away in the 2025 Ford Explorer with financing as low as 5.9% for 72 months. $16.53 cost per thousand borrowed. Or get the 2024 Ford Mach-E with financing as low as 0.9% for 72 months. $14.27 cost per thousand borrowed. Hurry! These offers end April 30th. Head to Metro Ford of Madison or visit metrofordofmadison.com today.
Look, we all know that as we age, our bodies change, but Carbon World Health can help. They have a process of testosterone replacement therapy that includes a diagnostic exam and blood tests to assess your hormone levels to make sure that they are optimal for you, not optimal for your age. Carbon World Health can help you increase your energy, focus, and overall health with their approach to hormone therapy. It's all about quality of life for you. Learn more at carbonworldhealth.com.
Immediate live show streaming. A homepage customized just for you. The brand new ESPN Wisconsin app. Your state, your teams, your ESPN.
If you're just doing this because you're starting to not believe the Packers are going to bring in a number one wide receiver.
The ESPN Wisconsin app. Everything in the palm of your hand.
Who are the top guys?
And Dobbs.
That is the problem.
No, I totally
that is
agree.
The problem. You have never called Xavier McKinney the wrong name.
Available in the Apple and Android App Store. Download the ESPN Wisconsin app today.
Hi, this is Brian Posick, and I can't wait for Mark Osiki's Casting for Kids Fishing Tournament coming up Saturday, May 17th on the Madison Chain of Lakes. It's a great time, great people, all for a great cause. There's lunch, dinner, raffles, and auctions, all to support the American Family Children's Hospital, UW Carbone Cancer Center. Plus a chance to win an Alumacraft fishing boat from Don's Marine. Join us on the water May 17th. Donate or partner with us. Learn more and register at castingforkids.org. That's casting4kids.org.
The NBA playoffs on ESPN Radio.
Edwards, right side three. Splash!
The Timberwolves win 2 straight in Minneapolis and take a 3-1 lead over the Lakers. Can LA survive a must-win Game 5?
Wednesday on 100.5 ESPN.
I'm not afraid of getting older. I want less day from dying young. I see the light and go past my shoulder. I want less day from dying young. And I'm not afraid of getting older. I want less day from dying young. And I see the light.
Wilde and Tausch, the Jim, Matt, and Molly Takeover. We are presented by Coors Light. The mountains are blue, you know what to do.
And that's Crush a Coors Light.
That's Molly Brown and Matt Hamilton. You can see us on the ESPN Madison YouTube stream. And Primetime Laura Shine behind the glass. We're in the Everlight Solar Studio. We do have Jason Wilde for a little bit longer, up until 11 o'clock, basically, here on Wilde and Tausch. And Jason, you know, your fans expect hardcore football talks, so no more talk about Green Bay, the city. No more
Have they not
haircuts.
listened to our show? Are they not familiar with Mark Gerald Tauscher?
Look, I'll tell you what. The best thing that's happened to your show is us doing it, because you got a lot of people just mad.
Yeah, they want you back.
Yes.
We're glad you joined us. Cause
yes. Yes.
There's riots out on the street right now.
Yeah. So the show is known as a bastion for only Packers talk, strict, hardcore Packers talk. So I want to ask the question. I just thought the actual Packers draft, from your perspective, Wilde, between Matthew Golden and Baron Sorrell, those two stories were fantastic. And I believe it was I'd listened to a lot of post-draft podcasts. I believe it was an athletic podcast that Dane Brugler was saying that when he talked to players from Texas, it's a common question. You say, hey, you could take one guy with you to the NFL. The answer for every single Texas player was Baron Sorrell. And and obviously Matthew Golden got him as well. So I'll let you talk about the talent is still TBD. I actually think if I'm betting on the two guys to contribute this year from this draft, I would bet on Golden and Sorrell more than anyone else. But also they're great stories and seem like fun people to be around.
Yeah, so LaFleur said the same thing, that they had a couple of different guys in from Texas and that he likes to ask that question, and that was the answer that he got. And so, you know, like you could see from our interaction with Barron that there's a passion there. You can see why teammates would gravitate to him. I'm working on a story for Channel 3000, and you guys know me. I'm kind of I don't know if you know this, I'm kind of a touchy-feely type. But look, there's so many measurables, right, for athleticism. Even though Goody, before the draft, claimed he doesn't.
We did a whole thing on this.
What's an RAS score? Well, we have our own version of that, so you do it.
Jason, that was so. We did a whole segment on how condescending it was, because he acted like he didn't know what RAS was, and then he described. Essentially, they just have RAS with their own initials on it.
Yeah, and I mean, considering it was my question, I was somewhat irritated by that.
I would be too, yeah.
Because, look, there are guys that have really... And in fact, Isaiah Simmons is another one of those guys with a gigantic RAS score. Goody cares about that. Call it whatever you want, but he cares about that. But my point is that there's all those ways to measure athleticism, for one. There's obviously... When you look at film, you can see what a player does in his production. What you cannot measure is dedication to the game, love of the game, and the ability to get through adversity. And, you know, I'm probably obnoxious about this as a parent, but I talk about it with the girls all the time because you're going to deal with adversity. You're not going to get the score you want at a gymnastics meet. You're going to miss shots in basketball. You're going to, have a race in track where you don't run at the speed or hit the height you're expecting in pole vaulting. How do you deal with that? Because you don't want your failures to beat you twice. And when Goody was talking about that, it really resonated with me because I do think, finding out what people are made of and how they handle adversity. Look, I hate to pick on this guy, but like Romeo Doubs, after what he did last year, like if I'm the Packers, I know he made a mistake, and I'm not saying you should be crucified for mistakes, but that sets off an enormous alarm bell for me of how's this guy going to deal with adversity again? Because last time he didn't show up for work. And that's not what I never had seen that in the NFL. I've seen people hold out for contracts and stuff, but I've never seen someone who was so unhappy with their role that they not only didn't come to work, they didn't tell anyone they weren't coming to work. And of course, what happens? I saw Matt Steinman of The Athletic went through all of the pictures that were posted by Evan Siegel, the Packers photographer, from the first day of in-person off-season program. And he pointed out that Romeo Doubs wasn't in any of those pictures. Now, I don't know what's going on with Romeo Doubs. Romeo Doubs might have, his wife might be having another baby. He might have a sick relative, whatever it might be. But because of what happened, of course I think, wonder if he's just unhappy that they've drafted more wide receivers, right? Whether that's fair or not, that is where your brain goes. And so my point is that I am fascinated by this angle, and I want to talk to some more guys about it because he said it about Golden, he said it about Sorrell, he said it about another guy too, and I think that is really crucial to whether a guy succeeds in the NFL. Maybe not as much as his athleticism or his on-field production, but it is a puzzle piece. And so I kept hearing Goody, and you guys know I asked him about this before the draft, about does this guy love the game? And we all know that there are guys that play football because they're good at it, not because they love it. So those are all parts of figuring out, will this guy succeed or not?
And Jason, just going off of the voluntary workouts, I did see that Christian Watson was not at practice. However, he was in the building, which I thought was interesting. What do you think, and I know that you're not in the business of predicting things, but what do you think that this wide receiver room is going to look like this season?
I love that I have this reputation now where people say that. Tausch always says that. I know you don't make predictions. Look.
Fair.
It's undeniably fair. I'm not saying it's not fair. I just love that now.
He says he loves it.
We put that caveat out there before we even bother to ask.
We know you won't answer the question, but let's give you a jumping off point.
That's the best part of it is that's like the polite way to say, I know your answer is going to kind of suck because you're going to refuse to answer it, but
no,
would you try?
not at
With all due respect.
Yeah, that's another one. Yeah, that's exactly what
no offense, but.
I mean, I could just be like, hey, Jason, spin us a yarn. What do you want?
I would say this is, I don't want to speak for Matt LaFleur, but I think their hope is that Christian Watson comes back in November, has some production, but doesn't have a stretch. And as much as it would help their team in 2025, if he were to have a stretch like he had during that 3-game window of his rookie year, remember that, where he had 7 touchdowns in 4 games or something insane? I think they would love for him to be back and contribute and help them win, but not go off so they could sign him to a 1-year deal for the 2026 season because he doesn't have much of a market coming off the ACL, and then they could keep him. Again, I don't know what's going to happen, but if he doesn't come back until mid-November, that is not great for his free agent marketability. I don't think they're bringing back Romeo Doubs. I think they're going to say, hey, man, go out there and ball out, and you can make yourself a ton of money, but it ain't going to be from us. So, get your, what together and play well. I still think that they believe that both Wicks and Reed can be special. Now, they have to stop dropping the football, and the fact both of them drop more passes individually than the Eagles did as an entire team has to change. But I will support my guy Wicks by saying he had one game where he dropped 3 balls in one game, but in the second half of the season, if you check his drop numbers, in the last 8 games, he didn't drop a pass. So I look for guys that fix the things they're doing wrong, and that is an encouraging sign from him. On the flip side, I like Jaden Reed a lot as a player and as a dude. Not as huge of a fan of the pizza that he endorses. I don't think it's very good. It's a frozen pizza. I'm more of a Palermo's guy. But you can't disappear to the degree that he did down the stretch. I mean, he was a non-factor down the stretch. They cannot have that happen again.
So, Jason, in this draft, the Packers obviously wide receiver heavy in the first 3 rounds. Is there a maybe not a player, but like a position group you think that they should have addressed more heavily? Like cornerback, waited till the 7th round to finally take a DB.
Yeah, so I wrote about that on Channel 3000, and I think I'm going to try and finish answering Molly's question because I could see by her face that I didn't really answer it. I don't know how big of a role Golden is going to have. Right? Like, you get drafted in the first round, the expectation is you contribute significantly right away. And I think that's fair. I don't know what to make of Savion Williams. Like, if we're going to, I think it's very dangerous to compare him to Cordero Patterson and Deebo Samuel when he hasn't played a snap in the NFL yet. But he does have a diversified skill set that I think Matt LaFleur is going to be excited about utilizing. But, again, I don't know how that's all going to shake out, and I'm not in the business of making predictions. Now, to answer Matt's question, which I am mesmerized by your hair today. It looks like it's amazing. It's got so much body. It's so full.
Who has better hair, Matt Hamilton or Matt LaFleur?
Matt Hamilton.
Oh,
let's go.
And there's more of it, too.
Well, Jason, that's my whole thing is that, like, Matt's just the LaFleur cut is a cut that, like, 70% of Packer fans can't have. And, like, if you have the thick hair to be able to grow out, like Scalzo when he grew his hair out, Matt Hamilton, if you have the ability to grow out Molly Brown, but
yes.
as a guy, if you have the ability to grow out thick hair that looks good, like, that's what I'm jealous of, because the LaFleur cut, I feel like 45, or I would say, I don't know, every 45-year-old plus guy with hair can get that haircut.
Yeah, I'm starting to thin up top, so I can't do that. I did do, and by the way, didn't we promise the YouTube dwellers we weren't going to talk about hair, and now I brought us back to that?
But I had to just get that take out there, because that's what's impressive about Matt's hair is just the sheer volume of it, as someone who lacks volume in hair.
Yeah, I did, and I did grow out my hair when Paula said that I would look so stupid if I shaved my head when she was going through chemo, when she was dealing with breast cancer, that I said, okay, then I'm going to grow it out, and that was not. She was rightfully embarrassed. I said, well, you should have let me shave my head then. But to your point about the way the draft fell, I do believe Goody when he said on Friday, and I didn't expect to be up here talking to you about 2 wide receivers. And maybe he didn't expect to be even talking about 1, right? But he takes Golden on night 1 and then Savion Williams on night 2. And to me, that, and I did a story on this on Channel 3000 too. Like, if you look at how the draft fell at corner, right? I mean, the Michigan kid Will Johnson with the knee issues fell all the way to 47. There were 2 first-round corners and only 3 second-round corners, and then there were 9 corners in the 3rd round. Okay, so this was not a great top of the corner class draft. On top of that, the guy that the Packers had in for a visit, Ravel, who played at East Carolina, who they, I think, really liked, but he's coming off an ACL, he went 76th, and they took at 87 Savion Williams. And on top of that, they discussed Savion Williams at 54 in the 2nd round when they took Anthony Belton, the behemoth offensive lineman. And so, again, I don't want to speak for Goody, but when you have a guy that you think about taking in the 2nd round and he's still there in the 3rd round, regardless of the position, if you thought that highly of him to take him 30 picks earlier, then you take him when you have the chance in the 3rd round.
And I agree with that philosophy. My team did that too, and I think if you get the guy, the one thing so Goody said during the offseason that this was there's urgency this offseason, and Then I look at their free agency. They didn't do a lot to help the team. So obviously this believes the Packers are doing a lot of reheating their own nachos here. They believe their own hype and all their players are going to get better because they got a new defensive line coach. Because when I look at this roster or at this draft class, I would bet on Golden and Sorrell as the two guys who will contribute year one. Belton is, I think, a good pick. I don't know anything about Oliver, Brinson, Robinson, or Williams. They very well could be good future players and future replacements. But as far as who's going to help the team next season, I see two guys, and I pull up The Athletic, and I did asked ChatGPT to do a composite of all the Packers grades, and they came out to a B. But The Athletic gave him a C+, and the Ringer gave him a C+, and the line that I thought best encompassed the whole thing was, although this is a fine haul for the Pack, I'm not sure it's a group that will put the team over the top, and I'll add the caveat of next year. So I don't have any great takes on all these players outside of I think Sorrell and Golden will contribute right away. But it seems like they didn't pick a lot of guys that are going to help this team be better next season. They could all help in a few years, which is important. But the Packers, I thought, were trying to go win the Super Bowl this year. And their free agent moves and their draft says, we just think we'll coach them better and we'll be better next year.
Well, certainly the defensive line, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, they did take three guys. Yep. They were all on day 3, but they did take 3 guys. And I think the hope with Brinson is that he can be the TJ Slayton, plug him in for Slayton. TJ he was a good run defender. He was a knucklehead, right? I mean, he had that critical penalty in the playoff game. Like, I don't think that they were ever going to re-sign him. But you're right. Like, is Sorrell going to be a guy that's going to get like 6 sacks for them? Probably not, right? I mean, yeah. But look, in fairness to Goody, if you you have 4 first-round picks in your defensive line rotation, right? Kenny Clark, Devontae Wyatt, Rashawn Gary, and LVN, who our fans tell us is not good enough to even deserve a nickname. But look, LVN is not one of my guys. I don't know him. The conversations that we have had, they're very like surface level. Like I love the guys that really like open up and give you insight both into who they are and to football. Like every time I talk to Xavier McKinney, I feel like I'm smarter. That's how I felt when I was around like Woodson. When I talk to LVN, I feel it's transactional. Like I needed to say this and I did it, and now I'm done. So I don't want to hold that against him, but I haven't seen anything from him that gives me this incredible hope that he's going to explode in year 3. Now, in fairness to him, though, he did play with a broken thumb all last year. They lined him up on the right side because of it all the time, which means he's going against the left tackle. So maybe that did factor in. Or maybe they just missed on him and should have taken Will McDonald, who grew up in Milwaukee and played at Iowa State and had 10.5 sacks for the Jets 2 picks later after they took LVN a couple years ago. So, but Goody put his draft picks where his mouth was. Mm-hmm. He said he believed they had the guys in the building to generate a pass rush, and based on how he drafted at the top in the first 2 days, he didn't reach for anybody at that spot, and he didn't reach for anybody at corner. So you could say he was true to his draft board, but he also did not reach to try and get guys in positions that he needed.
And Jason, I know you got to go. I just want to say this: like last year,
you guys need to go. I got plenty of time. I'm supposed to be on the air for these.
Well,
3
I
hours.
was told you had to be a hard out at 11, is what Ryan told me. But
hold on, Jason. You asked me in the talkback, could I be out by 11?
Yeah, that's not a hard out.
Come on.
That's a reality of being on this show. Like, you say 11, and then you stay to like 11:05, and then you're not pissed off. But go ahead.
So I want to follow up on this. Like last year, I believe the talk from Goody was like, we like all our receivers. Like we have a good group. Maybe we have 4 ones. We have a bunch of guys. So are we going to be sitting here next year, and the Packers are going to be spending a lot of draft capital on the D line, saying, we were wrong on the D line?
Yeah, probably. Right. I mean, Rashawn Gary has not lived up to, what was it, $96 million they gave him?
Yeah, and then he's drafted high too. Like, so high draft capital and cash.
Right, and I don't have anything against him per se, but like, those are the expectations that come with being a high pick who then gets a high dollar second contract. And the fact that he has never had a double-digit sack season, like, Clay Matthews has lapped him in terms of production and impact, right? Mm-hmm. And yes, he tore his ACL in Detroit a few years ago. I get it. I'm not trying to pick on him, but you need to do more. And I would hope that Rashawn Gary, when he looks in the mirror, says the same thing to himself. Hey, I got to do more. I got to be more I got to find a way. I can't, and I don't want to hear, oh, well, look at how many times he was right there and the quarterback got rid of the ball. Yeah, that happens. I'm sure that happens to Myles Garrett and Max Crosby too.
Yeah.
But they also get to the guy before he throws it more. So, look, that group needs to rise up. We all saw it from Philadelphia, how much more diversified and creative you can be with your defense if your front four can generate pressure without having to bring simulated fire zone pressures and all the other stuff that Jeff Hafley had to do. And again, kudos to Jeff Hafley, because as Matt LaFleur has said multiple times, I think he said it when we were on stage with him at the Tundra Trio on Thursday as well, like they went in with one plan for their defense, and they ran a defense that was not what they planned. And to me, that is the mark of a really good coach, and that's what Jeff Hafley did. He adjusted to his personnel, he adjusted to the shortcomings, and their defense ended up in the top 10 in both yards and scoring, which is pretty remarkable considering how disappointing their pass rush was from their front four.
Well, Jason, can I ask you a question since we have you until 11:05?
No, absolutely not.
Netflix released the preview for the Favre movie, and good Lord, just reading the captions, I can't wait to watch this. So wrap it up quick, because I got to see this. It seems like a takedown. I'm excited.
Okay. Well, I just had one question for you, Jason. So Adam Schefter joined Unsportsmanlike this morning, where he said following this draft for the Packers that he believes that there's more of a chance that Jair Alexander will be returning to the Packers this next season. What are your thoughts on that?
So Molly, I love you. I am so sick of this topic.
I know, but I had to ask.
And here, no, I understand. You're doing your job. I get it. Here's why. Because for some reason, all the reporting that has been out there on this, some of it mine, some of it Rob Domofsky's, some of it Tom Silverstein's, has been very consistent, which is they do not intend to bring him back. Mm-hmm. Right? He doesn't want to be back. They don't want him back. And then, LaFleur mentioned that he took part in the Zoom calls that were the first week of the off-season program. And then I got people saying, oh, I think he's coming back. Look, I'm not saying it's a 0% chance that he's going to be back on this team. But I think you have to trust what you're hearing. And this is the phrase I keep saying. Look, I understand there are fans that want him back. You know who else wants him back? Me. I like covering him. Mm-hmm. We have a great relationship. I've told that story about how he came up with the quote for the back of Sydney's basketball team's T-shirts that I made. I like covering him. I'm one of the few guys he trusts in the locker room. There's about three of us. Domofsky, Matt Schneidman, and me, I think, are the three that he talks to regularly. So, of course, I want him back. I am not trying to run him out of town. But, again, you saw Brian Gutekunst and the frustration he had. You definitely saw the frustration that Matt LaFleur had. And you saw it with David Bakhtiari. This is David Bakhtiari 2.0. What they don't want are guys that they don't know if they're going to play from week to week. And whether that's fair or not, I would say it's not. But that's how they think. And so I still don't expect him back. Now, I did not get a text back from Matt LaFleur, because I did want to know, was Jair there in person? I don't want to just rely on Matt Schneidman going through all those pictures from Evan Siegel. But the fact that he's not in a single picture leads me to believe that he's not there in person, and that they probably agreed between John Thornton, his agent, and the Packers, hey, until we figure this out, you don't have to come. It's voluntary. Maybe they even said, we'll still pay your workout bonus so you're not getting cheated out of money. But I think in the end, they're still gonna move on from him. Now, if Adam has changed his tune, I would say this about Adam. Adam is not just throwing spaghetti against the wall. So I'm assuming that he had a conversation with Jair's agent and said, and maybe the conversation was, well, I think they're warming up to the idea. I will leave you with this, and I've said this a couple times. I talked to someone who works in the building like a month and a half ago, And they were like, hey, Jason, he can still play. He's still a really good player. And I said, when he plays. And the guy said, you're right. I said, look, I get it. There is talent there. He's still only 28 years old. But it's pretty clear that people are pretty frustrated. Don't forget how they felt when he wasn't available. And I still think that thing in Chicago where he played 10 snaps and took himself out after saying he could go after warming up before the game at Soldier Field. Maybe they're conveniently forgetting that, but I know there were a lot of people in that building that were really pissed off about that.
Jason, we'll let you finally go on that note. We appreciate your time.
Well, now I can't wait to hear about this Brett Favre
go watch it.
Takedown. Is it out already?
So, no, the preview was just released. Maybe Brian can send you. I sent it to the Jim, Matt, and Molly because we're going to play the audio for it because seeing the captions.
I got some work to do. I'll just listen to the show.
There you go. Yeah, you can listen to the show. We're going to play the audio. We're going to play the captions and do all that for you. For the preview of the Netflix movie around Brett Favre, I saw parts of he thought he could do whatever he wants. He seemed out of control. And I'm like, oh, I gotta watch this preview because maybe finally someone will reveal maybe who Brett Favre was with the Green Bay Packers. This is Jim, Matt, and Molly. We are presented by Coors Light.
Your state, your teams, your ESPN. The ESPN Wisconsin app. Customizable just to you. Find the ESPN Wisconsin app in the Apple or Android app stores today.
Why is life better with American Family Insurance? Because every policy comes with something very special. A trusted agent who's there to help protect your dreams by finding the right coverage at the right price. Save up to 23% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
You, rah. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin present your Badger Minute. Here's Pablo Iglesias.
This Badger Minute is brought to you by Steinhoffels. Shop Beauty Rest Black mattresses at Steinhoffels. The new Beauty Rest Black is only $42 per month when you use Steinhoffels 60-month financing only at Steinhoffels. Hunter Wooler now in Indianapolis Colts. The former Badger changing things up. Wooler announced as a linebacker rather than a safety. His position all 4 years at Wisconsin. His words on the new challenge, audio courtesy Indianapolis Colts.
I love being near the box. I love being near the ball. I was able to play all over the field, and I think that prepared me very well. Being able to do as many things as I did at Wisconsin, I think it just gives me all the tools to be ready to jump in with Indy and do whatever I can to help get some wins.
Best of luck to Wooler and all of the Badgers who are heading to rookie minicamp.
Everyone is talking about the draft, but you won't feel one from high-quality Pella Windows. Get no-interest financing options or free glass upgrades today at PellaWI.com.
Jim Rutledge here, and I want to tell you about the Bruce Company, Dane County's premier retailer of outdoor furniture. They'll help you elevate your outdoor living space like they have for me. Exceptional craftsmanship, all the latest styles, colors, and durable materials that hold up to whatever Wisconsin weather brings. From deep seating to dining, pick your set and the Bruce Company will customize it to fit your style. Visit their furniture showroom in Middleton and let their trained staff help you bring your outdoor dreams to life. The Bruce Company, your outdoor living experts.
The area's best high school sports coverage is Zimbrick Honda's presentation of Prep Mania.
Join me, Hunter Vaughn, and the Dean Dennis Summer Out this Saturday at 9 a.m. We react to the huge news of the WIAA voting to allow name, image, and likeness at the high school level. Plus, the Dean and I recap the week that was for area schools as the postseason is just a few weeks away. All that and more this Saturday at 9 a.m. right here on 100.5 ESPN and the new ESPN Wisconsin app.
Locally produced, handcrafted, award-winning spirits. Only one way to do cocktail night right, and that's with Door County Distillery. Hey, it's Alex Stroh. For 4 years now, I've been telling you the only way I do cocktail night right at the Stroh household, and that is with my friends at Door County Distillery. Whether it's a bourbon on the rocks, an old-fashioned made with their cherry brandy infused with Door County cherries, or something like a rum punch with the weather getting warm, it's always Door County Distillery. Find it wherever local spirits are sold or visit doorcountydistillery.com.
The sound of summaries on ESPN Madison.
The 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. He struck him out.
Madison's home of the Brewers.
Fly ball right field. Hit a ton. We're tied.
Catch every Milwaukee Brewers game this season on 100.5 ESPN.
Get up. Get in. Gone.
Brewers baseball on ESPN Madison is presented by Hard Rock Casino Rockford and brought to you by the Pfister Hotel in downtown Milwaukee.
Oh, can't show you in there.
Why not?
That's the bathroom. We need a new shower bad.
Think your shower is one of the ugliest in Wisconsin? Upload your photo by April 30th to goodkarmabrands.com/Wisconsin contest for a chance to win a free shower remodel. One lucky fan will win a free shower remodel from Kohler Services, including design consultation, demolition, and removal of your existing shower or bath, and installation of a brand new Kohler Luxstone shower. goodkarmabrands.com/Wisconsin contests.
Your state, your teams, your ESPN. The ESPN Wisconsin app. Customizable just to you. Find the ESPN Wisconsin app in the Apple or Android app stores today.
Wilde and Tausch, the takeover with Jim, Matt, and Molly continues. We're in the Everlight Solar studio. I'm Jim Rutledge alongside Molly Brown and Matt Hamilton. Ryan says we have to go to break as much as possible, so we're going right back. No, we're going to go to break quick because I blame Jason Wilde and Ryan, not any of us in the Everlight Solar studio.
I mean, I asked the question. He said he was good until 11:05. It's his show.
I was trying to be so nice to get him on at a reasonable time because we got to him late. I was like, I don't want him to be here too long, and I don't want us to be 2 segments behind on the takeover of Wilde and Tausch, and look where we are now.
All right. So we'll keep it tight. We'll keep it tight here like LaFleur's haircut. Again, Olympic gold medalist Matt Hamilton, Jim Rutledge. We are on ESPN Wisconsin. Missing today's show, you can listen back on the ESPN Wisconsin app. You can chime in on the Cardinals Talker text line 844-770-3776. List is more. So a couple different texts come through when Wilde was talking about Romeo Doubs. One, like, will he make the team? Can we trade him? I'm going to tell you this. You know who's got less trade value than Jair Alexander? Romeo Doubs. Like, other teams are, like, and all fans are guilty of this, but are people aware that other NFL teams also know things about their players? Like, Romeo Doubs would get you basically nothing. 5th, 6th round pick?
And do you think that's just because I guess kind of on the field, but the issues that have happened just stemming from last year?
And, like, he's not, like, why would you want to get rid of him? The reason you want to get rid of him is why he doesn't have trade value. And also, It's not like he's a stud. It's not like you're trading.
Based on play alone, you might get a third. But, like...
That's high.
No.
You don't think so?
No, because
especially last year, he's coming off of injuries. Like
and he's into his 3rd year.
He had multiple concussions last year, too. Like,
That's true.
Based on play, you'd be a 4th or a 5th, maybe conditionally. Mm-hmm. And then with this, 6th?
Okay. The reason I said 4th is because you said 5th with the... So... Yeah, I was just trying to make a comparison. Like,
no, I get it.
Outside of the on the field and off the field dramatics.
Lil Too Real on the ESPN Madison YouTube channel says Romeo is the best wide receiver we have.
Not last year.
I'll take Jaden Reed over Dobbs any day.
We'll take Reed as well.
Yeah. But so Dobbs, 59 catches, 674, and 8 touchdowns as a rookie. And you go, okay, we're excited. And he was a 4th round pick. I would imagine. So then last year, 46 catches, 601, 4 touchdowns, less games. Is the injury concern now, plus whatever the off-the-field stuff is. But then he's 2 years, Matt, to your point, like production-wise, maybe. But now he's 2 years into his deal. So now the team has to make a decision. You know, what are you doing with his contract in the future? So, like, if you're trading Dobbs, you're trading him for 30 cents on the dollar. So the Packers are going to keep him. You're not going to get anything for him. It's the same thing. Anytime you want your favorite player traded, understand that the reason you want them traded is the reason why other teams are not going to pay full freight for them. And I'm not saying Romeo Doubs. Romeo Doubs is a fine player, and I think the Packers would be smart to keep him because you don't know what Golden's going to be.
Right.
I think he's going to be a Jaden Reed type impact for his first season, and maybe he makes the jump that Reed didn't make last year. But if I'm betting on it, Golden doesn't profile as a Justin Jefferson or even a Devontae Adams. Like, he might profile as a Greg Jennings level receiver. We have a couple years where he's your number one, but I don't think he's profiling as your future star receiver. I think when you have Golden and Reed, and let's say and then you have Tucker Kraft, and then you have maybe Wicks finally shows up and gets production, because Wicks' production has been
or that 6'4", 220-pound Savion Williams.
But that might be a year away too.
Yeah,
I've seen some highlights of Golden, guys. Woo. Looking pretty good.
You watch all his game tape or just the highlights?
Highlights,
come
obviously.
Come on.
Again, I think he's going to be. Jaden Reed had a good rookie season.
Got me excited. For sure. If he ends up being Jaden Reed rookie season, I think I'll be happy.
You'll definitely be happy. 8 touchdowns and that way. Or
that was Dobbs. But Jaden Reed
he had 700 plus yards.
Yeah. That's a fair expectation to set for a guy who was picked 23rd overall. Travis Hunter, Tet McMillan were picked in front of him. Am I missing?
Emeka Buka.
So third receiver, and he had the same grade as Luther Burden who was picked in the higher part of the second round. So he's kind of viewed as a guy that Jaden Reed was a second-round pick. In this draft, Jaden Reed might have been a first-round pick. We'll continue this conversation on the other side. This is Jim, Matt, and Molly Takeover of Wilde and Tausch.
Don't go anywhere. Another hour of Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, is coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
The UW Credit Union member Mark Tauscher here. People ask me, old T, why did you join UW Credit Union? Well, is it to keep your banking local? Is it the member first service? Great perks like early payday? Absolutely. But honestly, between us, it's Bucky. I can't say no to that face. If you love Wisconsin like I do, you just can't pay with anything else. Fandom makes us do crazy things, but this just makes sense. Become a UW Credit Union member and get your Bucky card like me. Federally insured by NCUA. Terms and conditions apply.
Hi, this is former Badger Pro Football Hall of Famer Joe Thomas. You're listening to 100.5 ESPN WTLX Monona, Madison. Good Karma Brands radio station.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio, this is your Metro Kia of Madison Sports Center.
Good morning, Madison. I'm Ryan Wollersheim, and this is your Sports Center update brought to you by Ridgetop Exteriors, Wisconsin's premier roofing, siding, and window contractor since 2002. Visit them at ridgetopexteriors.com. Milwaukee Bucks down 3-1 in their first-round playoff series against the Indiana Pacers. Their Game 5 is tonight at 5 p.m. Central Time right here on 100.5 ESPN. The Bucks facing the potential of a first-round exit for the third straight season and have won just one playoff series since capturing the NBA championship back in 2021. Bucks also officially without guard Damian Lillard, who did suffer a torn Achilles 6 minutes into Sunday's loss against the Pacers. That injury could very well threaten his availability for the entire 2025-26 season and leads to plenty of question marks about how long and how likely it is that Giannis Antetokounmpo will be finishing his career with the Milwaukee Bucks. Make sure to tune in to pregame coverage beginning at 4:30 right here on 100.5 ESPN, which is why Jim, Matt, and Molly is taking over Wilde and Tausch for the final hour coming up next. Meanwhile, the Milwaukee Brewers also back at it tonight. They broke their 4-game losing streak on Sunday with a 7-1 win against the St. Louis Cardinals. Their 10-game road trip continues tonight with the first of a 3-game series against the White Sox. First pitch at 6:40. Catch the start of that game on 1670 The Zone.
Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealer. Stop into Metro Kia on the east side of Madison or metrokiaofmadison.com.
It's 11:20, but that's the start of the third hour here when Jim, Matt, and Molly do the takeover of Wilde and Tausch on ESPN Wisconsin. I'm Jim Rutledge alongside Molly Brown and Olympic gold medalist Matt Hamilton. You can normally hear us in Madison weekdays 4 to 6, but we're off the air because the Milwaukee Bucks have their death march tonight against the Pacers. 5 o'clock.
Savage.
All right,
5 o'clock tip-off, pregame at 4:30 on ESPN Madison and on WTMJ.
What if the Bucks end up winning the series? Will you just eat crow?
Happily. I like the Bucks. I'm a Bucks fan. I'm just telling you what I see this team. It was built, and I've read multiple things on the Bucks, and you can watch them. It was built to be a stars and scrubs roster. That's how, when you have Giannis, Middleton, and Dame, and even when they had Drew instead of Dame, that's how they built their roster. That's how most NBA rosters are built nowadays. Stars and scrubs. You're out of stock. Chris Middleton shouldn't have been re-signed, and his contract was traded, and that's how far, unfortunately, he fell. He's a legend, but he was knocked down to contract status, so his contract was traded for Kyle Kuzma, and then Dame goes down. Brutal, horrible luck for Bucks fans and for Dame, and that sucks. And now you have Giannis. And then you got a bunch of Porter can't defend. Portis doesn't seem to defend much. Can they get a dead cat bounce tonight? Sure, but they're in Indiana. And a dead cat bounce meaning like we're going to go prove the world wrong and we're going to bring a effort in Indiana doesn't show up because they're like, well, the Bucks are cooked. They got one guy. That could happen, but the series, I hope the Bucks win and then go get led to the slaughter by to Cleveland or whatever. But like, it'd be great. It'd be a nice story. But the Bucks are done for what we care about. When you have a guy like Giannis, it's championship or bust. I'm not here for moral victories. So the team is cooked. And my only goal the rest of the year, however games the Bucks have left in the playoffs here, whether they lose tonight or later on, is Giannis, like the draft day thing, so-and-so no matter what. Giannis healthy no matter what. That's all I care about. If the Bucks are down 15 in the start of the fourth quarter, Giannis can go get dressed, in my opinion.
Giannis could also go get 15.
Right, but then Indiana will score more points. So
Indiana will score 15 more.
No. But you got to believe in Giannis.
But then what? Then what, Matt? Like, then what? They beat the Pacers tonight.
Then Giannis
then
gets
do you
to
think
play
they're gonna
another
win more?
game in Milwaukee.
And another one in Indiana.
If they win that one, yeah.
See, if they only and I'm
It's
not going to
more
think about
risk.
the math,
It's
but if they
more
only
risk.
had to win this game and then another one back at home and they didn't have to go back to Indiana, I would feel great. I would feel a lot more excited than I am right now.
And I would like to point out that this is a different conversation if Dame is healthy. This is why I'm having this conversation. All I care about is Giannis being healthy going in the offseason so the Bucks can they can build their roster how Giannis and they want to build it. Whether that's with Giannis or without, they can maximize value. A healthy Giannis. You don't want Giannis having any injury going into the offseason. You want a full offseason of him being able to train so he can either be a dominant force again for the Milwaukee Bucks or he is a maximized draft or trade asset. Either way, Giannis can't get hurt. That's the only thing that matters for the rest of the playoffs because they beat Indiana. Cool. And then they'll go get slaughtered, and then we'll call it a season. All I care about is Giannis being healthy because next season, if I'm betting, they're going to give it the college try and hope the guy John Horst puts it together, and then at the trade deadline, they'll have a conversation.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, man, but this like you're saying, this could be it for Giannis. Like, to watch him sit out a fourth quarter or whatever for injury purposes. Like, I get the reasoning behind it, and it's sound logic, but Giannis isn't going to do that.
All right, we got some breaking news from our friend at Rob Demoski. According to a source, the Packers and Jair Alexander continue to talk about a possible resolution, which could include a reconciliation to where Alexander plays for the Packers in 2025 after all. All options are still on the table. Release, trade, or return.
Well, so I'm glad that I asked Jason Wilde the question.
Yeah,
Good
great.
job, Molly.
Guess what?
Thank
Still
you.
a whole lot.
You get a hard candy.
Thank
Treat
you.
yourself to hard candy during the break.
I will.
We'll come back, talk about that. I also want to play on the air, and we'll react to it. We can watch some of it as well. But the Netflix has released the preview for the Brett Favre documentary, which I think will be a true documentary, which means it tells a real story. And I love the Steph Curry and Giannis documentaries and some of those, and they're really fun, but they're very glossed over.
Mm-hmm.
This one does not seem glossed over. It seems to find all the crevices. This is Jim, Matt, and Molly. Takeover of Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella today, 855-PELLA-WI, and online at PellaWI.com/radio.
We shopped at Chalmers because my husband wanted to get me a larger diamond in my engagement ring.
The folks at Chalmers said, well, we could just make it like this and we could do these things. Really just basically decided that there wasn't any place else we wanted to shop.
But not only did they create this new engagement ring for me with this gorgeous center stone, they also rehabbed this other ring, and I am beyond pleased.
Her favorite thing to do now is to walk around and show her hands and have people comment on it.
Hey, Gina, did you hear about the draft?
Wayne, there's no draft at Pella.
There's definitely a draft. Right, Wilde? Yeah, everybody's talking about it.
Pella windows are constructed of the highest quality. No drafts. But Pella should be everyone's number one pick because right now at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, get no interest financing options or free glass upgrades.
So where is the draft?
Coon. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Certain restrictions apply in 4/30/2025.
Ben Brust here to tell you about the Princeton Club. If you're looking for a place where you can better yourself while having a wonderful atmosphere, you have it at the Princeton Club. Strong communities, strong body, and strong mind. All it takes is one small step to start today. You will see that you have everything you need in order to achieve all of your goals. Find your better tomorrow at the Princeton Club. 8 Madison locations where you go in there, you take a tour, and you realize this is a place for me. Find more at PrincetonClub.net.
People travel the world to collect Hard Rock shirts, and Hard Rock Casino Rockford is going to give the people what they want. Get in on the action at Hard Rock Casino Rockford, where all new Unity card signups receive an official Hard Rock shirt, plus free play to kickstart a winning streak. Whether you're spinning the slots or playing the tables, you'll be dressed for success. Hard Rock Casino Rockford. Let's Hard Rock. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or text ILGAMB to 833-234.
Your Honda gets you everywhere. When it needs service, you need Zimbrick Honda service. Their customer service is second to none, and you can experience it for yourself at 2 convenient Madison service locations on Fish Hatchery Road and Grand Canyon Drive. From simple maintenance to expert repairs, Honda certified technicians handle it all. Need new tires? For a limited time at Zimbrick Honda, you can buy 3 tires and get the 4th for only $1. Part of the Madison community since 1973. Shop local. Shop Zimbrick Honda.
Staying on Wisconsin sports never stops with the Jump Around podcast.
The reason why I feel fired up is because I sensed something in Luke Fickell that just felt different over the last few years that I've gotten to cover and be around his press conferences, that I feel like that there is, I don't want to say a new style of Wisconsin football. Feels like it's more Luke Fickell branded football.
The Jump Around podcast with Jim Rutledge and Pablo Iglesias. Streaming live every Thursday at 12:30 on the ESPN Madison YouTube channel.
Looking to join an international quality golf club right here in Madison? Discover TPC Wisconsin, an instant classic in the heart of the Midwest. With a course co-designed by Steve Stricker and PGA Tour Designs, it's the 13th and newest TPC Network golf club in the world. Other high-quality amenities include a short game practice area, athletic performance center, and meeting and dining facilities, plus membership benefits that reach around the globe. Schedule a tour at tpcwisconsin.com and start your journey to a lifetime of priceless golf.
Introducing the newest carbless flavor, Mango Vodka. Flavored with the essence of the ripest, freshest mangoes, carbless mango vodka will transport your taste buds to a sunny beach getaway. New flavor, still the same carbless crafted cocktails with 0 carbs, 0 sugars, and only 100 calories. Enjoy a refreshing vodka cocktail without the guilt. 4 packs of the new carbless mango vodka cocktail are available in stores near you. Find your bliss today at drinkcarbless.com and escape with every sip.
Wilde and Tausch on 100.5 ESPN is brought to you by Everlight Solar. Save money, save the planet. Everlight Solar.
Matt and Molly continues live from the Everlight Solar studio. I'm Jim Rutledge alongside Molly Brown and Matt Hamilton. And we had a spirited talk during the break, and I want to get to that, but it's a conversation. Primetime Overshine Behind the Glass. We're on ESPN Wisconsin. You normally can hear us on ESPN Madison 4 to 6. If you missed any of today's show, you can listen back on the brand new ESPN Wisconsin app. You can chime in on the Carbs Talking text line 844-770-3776. And list is more. Matt, the conversation we had during the break.
Ryan's about to get so mad at you for going off topic.
Well,
here.
no, but the conversation we had during break is a conversation that we would also have while sharing some lineies.
Absolutely. And you know what? There is no wrong answer when it comes to lineies. Unlike our spirited conversation, there is no wrong answer. And now is the season to get into that summer shandy, maybe that juicy peach, the delicious Lakeside cherry. Liney's has a flavor for every moment. Check out Leinekugels wherever you get delicious beer. Don't sleep on that Liney's original. And remember, you got to be 21 years or older to enjoy.
So we're going to get to the Brett Favre Netflix trailer in a minute. I think you can hear the audio of it and you'll get a feel for it. But there's been a debate going around on the internet. And the question is, can 100 dudes subdue. I don't want to use the word like defeat. Defeat.
Defeat's a good word. Yeah.
Defeat a gorilla.
So first things first. This is such a man topic to even think about because in no world am I sitting here thinking, could I beat up a gorilla? Like that will never enter my mind. I will never think about the Roman Empire. I will never think about beating up a gorilla. But here's my question with it, if I am going to think about it. Is it 100 people that look like Tausch? Or is it 100 people that look like Ryan Wollersheim? Like, what are we talking about here? What kind of people are fighting this gorilla? You know what I mean?
I don't care what kind of. You could pick.
The gorilla's gonna peel you like a banana.
Is it former offensive lineman?
100 of me?
100 of you.
100 of me.
100 bananas would put up a better fight.
You could take that. You could take whatever you think the strongest. Hockey, MMA, they're all getting destroyed.
Football players, like offensive linemen, defensive linemen.
One hit from the gorilla.
Not the Packers defensive linemen by any means.
One hit from a gorilla on every human being, they're cooked. I don't care how strong you are. One hit,
what do you
you're cooked.
think they're just gonna go in one at a time? Like, yeah, I agree with you. If they line up and go one-on-one each,
even otherwise, like
if you get close enough, how is he gonna like swing around? You got
they're strong. They jump.
Small.
They're athletic.
Do they jump?
Yes.
Gorillas?
Yeah, they have legs.
Wow.
Like, it would be a bloodbath.
Clearly, you've never thought about fighting a gorilla.
Absolute bloodbath.
Oh, it would.
Matt is overestimating the human race. Do you know why we live this long? Because we've never tried to fight a gorilla.
I mean,
ever.
Somewhere somebody did, but
yeah, 100%. And
they're not around to tell the story.
99 other people to help them.
And they are not around to tell the story.
You're going to lose a couple brave soldiers that go in first. But I think 100 might be able to do the trick.
Couple. Unbelievable. I have no faith in humanity that would
Josh
happen.
Damasio just chimed in and he said 100 humans win easy.
No chance.
I don't know about easy, but Jim was telling me in the break it was a 1 in a million chance the humans are able to like pull that out.
No weapons?
No way.
No weapons?
No way. Way more than that.
No, gorilla, no.
I think you're overhyping gorillas.
I think you're overestimating humanity and humans. Also, we pretend that 100 humans could get along enough to fight a gorilla.
Fair.
I mean, you just tell them all something that the gorilla said about like their moms.
You have to tell them 10 different things. Some might like their moms, some might like their dads. Like you can't get 100 people to agree on anything. 10% of Americans believe the plague wasn't that bad.
How did this just get into this?
Well, I'm also
you can't get 100 people to agree on anything.
Are people only allowed to like their mom or their dad? They can't like both?
In this case,
I would go up and say, hey, that gorilla said you were weak. That gorilla over there said you couldn't do it. Any of you couldn't do it. They'd all find the collective hate for that gorilla.
I disagree. You cannot get 100 people to agree on anything. I can almost guarantee that one too. But let's hear because I teased it for a while, and then we'll go to break. I want to play for you the ESPN Wisconsin debut of the Netflix trailer of the new Brett Favre movie that's coming out, I believe, in May.
Yes, it will be dropping May 20th.
All righty. So let's hear the trailer here.
Everybody wish they could be an NFL quarterback. You get all the notoriety, you get paid all the money.
Brett Favre was a cult-like, iconic figure.
People say he was a football god.
There are a lot of reasons why you might question Brett Favre's inner goodness.
Allegations that he sent lewd texts and photos to a New York Jet employee.
Brett Favre ultimately destroyed my life.
In the life of Brett Favre, not everything is what it seems.
He starts to go through life thinking, I can do whatever I want. At what level does that stop?
I was at a game and someone said Brett Favre wanted my phone number. And I just kept saying no. I started getting text messages. And then I started getting voicemails when I was like, oh, I'm in serious trouble here.
Had to come up with that.
Maybe we shouldn't be surprised that he got caught up in a federal welfare misappropriation scandal.
You take money intended for the poorest. I don't know how he sleeps at night.
People don't want most of that stuff to come out. People want their heroes.
When someone shows you who they are, believe them.
So, obviously, a lot of Jen Sturger, and then obviously the allegations. I don't know if they're allegations or if it's been proved yet that he stole a bunch of money from welfare in the state of Mississippi and other things around Brett Favre. The last little bit was the interesting part to me where it says people don't want to know who their heroes are. So, Matt, will you watch this? Because the Aaron Rodgers one was obviously just a fluff piece on Aaron Rodgers about Aaron Rodgers, and it was fine. Like Aaron Rodgers signed off on the whole thing. Mm-hmm. So, like, that's not going to give you much of anything, but it's not going to tear down your hero. In this case, Brett Favre, if he is still a hero to some, I'm just curious, and you can chime in on this 844-770-3776 before we go to break on the Carbos Talking text line. Less is more. Like, Matt, and then to the audience, will you watch the Netflix doc on Brett Favre?
It's intriguing. I'll probably watch it. It's something to watch, too. Like, kind of a drought right now in the Hamilton home for things to watch, but this isn't quite the feel-good movie that my wife might be into. I mean, I was pretty out on Brett Favre when he went to the Vikings, and that was kind of like it for me. So I'm not going to – it's not really going to sway my opinion of Brett Favre after
What
this.
happens if it digs into some stuff with the Packers? Because we're only seeing one preview.
Again, like, not every organization is perfect. I understand that. I prefer to stay ignorant to whatever the Packers implicate.
Well, I meant more of what he did, not about the Packers. I meant about him specifically.
I hear what you're saying. And, like, again, who knows? The Packers might have contributed a little bit to that, his pain addiction that he had going on there. So, like, again, I'm going to watch it because I'm interested. Brett Favre was a hero for sure growing up.
Yeah.
Here in Wisconsin, like, he's one of the most fun quarterbacks to watch ever. He's always going to be that, regardless of what happened outside of it. So, like, it'll be interesting.
So you want to watch it because you were a fan and you'll be curious. Molly?
I'm super excited to watch this, actually. I think it's going to be fascinating. Because to me, the Jets era was 2008, 2009-ish.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, for me, I was only 10, 12, whatever it was. So I'm going to feel like I feel like I'm going to learn so much about this whole situation, more than I ever even obviously knew. Because, I mean, I know, like, surface level and a little bit, but so I'm super excited to watch it. I am not a Brett Favre fan, so I'm probably going to love every single thing that's negative about him, but I'm excited. How about you, Jim?
Yeah, I'm excited because, like Brett Favre, as a Bears fan, I respected the hell out of Brett Favre, the football player. Like, Iron Man, great player.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't really argue with him as a football player. Seeing a guy like Brett Favre being taken down for all the awful things that he's done, yeah. He does not seem like a dude that needs to be propped up. And
Fair.
I think people need to stop propping him up. And I think he needs to be exposed for who he is, if this is who he is. 844-770-3776, Carbos Talking text line. This is more. Will you watch the Brett Favre documentary on Netflix? But on the other side, we will throw some stones, get back into the true topic of the day in the last 20 minutes of the show. Could 100 men defeat a gorilla? We have some answers from ChatGPT.
How many men listening think that they can defeat a gorilla with 99 other men?
Here's the thing, and it gets to my point, not to give away the whole thing. It can happen, according to ChatGPT, if everyone works together and makes sacrifices. So it ain't happening. This is Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light.
This is Wilde and Tausch, driven by Zimbrick Chevrolet in Sun Prairie on 100.5 ESPN. See their full inventory at ZimbrickChevrolet.com.
Mark Tauscher here for Pizza Hut, where Cheesy Bites Pizza is back right now. For just $13.99, you get a large pizza with 28 pullable, poppable, cheese-filled bites. And even better, it comes with the Ranch Lover's Flight, featuring 3 bold new dips: Ultimate Ranch, Chipotle Ranch, and Pepperoni Ranch. 1 large pizza, 3 dips, endless flavor. Hurry in or order online today at PizzaHut.com. Only at Pizza Hut. No one out-pizzas the Hut.
It's time for the Milwaukee Basketball Report on 100.5 ESPN.
Lillard's going to tee up a 3, and he splashes it through for the left wing.
Brought to you by Michelob Ultra, the official beer of the Milwaukee Bucks.
After Friday night's huge Game 3 win, the Bucks looked to even up their series with the Pacers on Sunday night, ultimately coming up way short, losing 129-103 in the process. That, however, not the news of the game. Damian Lillard, an Achilles injury. Here's Doc Rivers after the game.
He's just such a great freaking dude, like on a basketball level, but more important, like as a teammate and a father and all that stuff. You know, no one deserves it, but golly, you just look at him. And so that's why I feel bad.
The injury happened just 6 minutes into Lillard's game on Sunday night. Game 5 happens Tuesday at 5 o'clock in Indianapolis.
This has been your Milwaukee Basketball Report on Madison's home for Bucks basketball, 100.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Michelob Ultra.
Since J&K Security Solutions opened in 1987, our attention to detail and customer service have been our strongest assets. I'm President Jeffrey Beckman. We'll always do our best to find the most efficient and cost-effective solution to every job we tackle. Whether it's security for your home or business, installing video surveillance, or being able to control your garage doors from your phone, we can help you feel empowered with simple and user-friendly technology. Let's work together to secure your home or business. jksecurity.com.
Hi, Drew and Jonathan Scott here, reminding you that a lot of life's firsts are better with help from American Family Insurance. Like your first home expansion or your first big lightning strike. There's a first for everything. Get the right home policy at the right price with the right help from American Family's agents. Life's better when you're under American Family's roof. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating company 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Welcome to the Chevy Lightning Round. Guess the clues to win. First team, you're up.
Powerful, commanding, unstoppable.
Silverado.
Adventurous, fun, techie.
Trailblazer.
Stylish, nimble.
Trax.
Innovative, electric.
Blazer EV. Lightning Round champions. You've guessed all the right Chevy clues.
Wherever the year takes you, explore it together in the Chevy of your choice. See your Badgerland Chevy dealer today.
Starion Bank redefines local banking in Madison. As a community bank with a commitment to Dane County, experience a banking relationship where your goals are our priority. Enjoy competitive deposit and loan rates and a partnership that thrives on local engagement and support. Starion Bank is more than a full-service financial institution. It's a community pillar dedicated to your prosperity. Visit one of our convenient branches in Middleton, Monona, or Sun Prairie. Starion Bank, offering banking, lending, mortgage, and cash management.
The pulse of the Milwaukee Bucks, straight from a Bucks legend.
Can't get it off. Marcus Johnson will, though. You can't leave him alone for a 12.
Tap into Here District with Marcus Johnson on Bucks Plus. Marcus and his son Chris offer a weekly beat on Bucks basketball. Get your questions answered and hear from the biggest names in basketball. Find Here District with Marcus Johnson at bucks.com/plus on the Bucks app or wherever you get your podcasts.
We're on the Packers.
You still want to see that steady play, that steady improvement, and you didn't get it from Jordan Love?
Because we're on Wisconsin sports.
That just makes the stakes that much higher this season.
Nobody covers the green and gold like 100.5 ESPN.
Jim, Matt, and Molly, the Takeover Wilde and Tausch continues on ESPN Wisconsin. Jim Rutledge, Molly Brown, and Matt Hamilton with you. We are in the Everlight Solar studio. And again, the ESPN Wisconsin app is, if you miss any of today's show, you can listen back on the new ESPN Wisconsin app. And Molly, you can tell us a little more.
Yes, live listening, show replays, exclusive content. It's all on the new ESPN Wisconsin app. Your state, your teams, your ESPN. The Wisconsin sports fans' best way to stay in touch with their favorite ESPN Wisconsin shows and keep up with their favorite teams. Find the new ESPN Wisconsin app in the Apple or Android app stores.
All right, let's throw some stones.
1, 2, 3,
Some takes are cooler than others.
You know this kid is as cool as the other side of the pillow.
Some opinions are just cooler than the rest.
Now what's cooler than being cool? Ice cold.
And if you keep it chill, then it's a cold take.
Chill out. I'm chill. I'm chill as a cucumber, man. I'm always the coldest.
This is Throwing Stones, presented by Metro Kia Madison, Madison's chillest Kia dealership.
So this is Throwing Stones, the segment we do on Jim, Matt, and Molly weekdays 4 to 6. And basically we bring a topic, and obviously Matt being a curler, he throws stones for a living, has won a gold medal doing it. And then obviously people who live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. So we kind of just bring up a topic that we're interested in, and we debate it. We're going to circle back, so you can chime in 844-770-3776. Maybe we should post this at Jim, Matt, and Molly as our other poll question. Could 100 men beat a gorilla? And that's what we're going to ask. So you can chime in the Carbos Talking text line. List is everything that I've read now. But I'm going to give you the kind of the combine for the gorilla. So a gorilla basically, yeah, I got it. So a gorilla can jump almost 3 feet in the air.
36 inches.
It can bench around 2,000 pounds. It can run up to 25 miles per hour. So even if that gorilla's running and you get hit by it, you might be donezo. And then, by the way, it's got a bite force of 1,300 PSI, so it can just basically bite through your arm. So that is what 100 men are going to attack. Now, everything I've read is like, Yeah, it could happen if everyone works together. So setting aside, because DiMaggio's like, all right, we can't apply logic. Josh DiMaggio chimed in and said you can't apply logic or any sort of real life scenarios to this. So
hold on, can I read Josh's text on there?
Yeah.
All right, so he said that the gym scenario that you can't get 100 people to work together on any one thing nowadays. He said saying people won't work together in this scenario is like asking if a boat will float and then saying, no, I've put holes in the bottom. That's not the game, Jim.
But that's not exactly the same thing, because my whole thing is that you need 100 people. So basically, everything I've read has said strategically you might be able to luck your way into it. It's possible. It's not likely. And I think if we did this simulation 100 times, because nobody wants to see 100 dudes fight a gorilla, they'd be just awful across the board. And I would say, how many times out of 100 do you think it happens? Because there's a morale part of this too. When you start seeing your friends' heads getting popped off or bit through, or when you're down from it goes from 100 to 50 men, and then not what happens when you're down to 10 men? 10 men aren't defeating the gorilla. You better.
But the gorilla's a lot more tired by then, right?
But a gorilla is 100 men. Is the point? They are massive, and their whole existence. I don't know a gorilla's psychology, but a man's mortality is coming into play here as well.
Matt, I'm curious, what are your combine scores here? What's your vertical? Let's just compare.
Only 21. And I did this is from 2 days ago, or a week ago.
Okay, because you'd have a curling combine, correct? Mm-hmm. Okay, what is your bench press?
I think my max right now is only 225.
Okay, so he's got you by times what, 100?
Yeah. But 100 of us that can bench 225.
Are you benching all
that's
together?
225,000 pounds.
How are you benching together?
That's how it works.
You work together.
Take that.
Give me a plan. Who's going for? Who are the people who are volunteering to die?
The first 10.
Why are they volunteering to die?
Are they first in line?
They did it at
You're
Normandy.
throwing logic into this. You're saying if you're a general of 100 people that are going to do what you're asked unconditionally, it can be done.
Okay, but he brought up Normandy. I believe that they've talked about it before. Even something great like that, it was a 1 in a. Obviously, I'm giving real odds, but it was 1 in a million that worked. Even the things that worked in history, it took ungodly amount of luck of the weather that day and all these other million things, so much planning, and they did their best chance to set it up.
Code breaking in there too.
Right, there was so much they set up to get that 1 in 100 chance that it happened right that day. If we had to do Normandy 100 times, I don't know what it works. In this case, fighting the gorilla, I'm giving you 2. 2 out of 100.
Dave and Aaron chimes in and says, if Chuck Norris is part of the 100 men, then I'll take the humans. If not, then it's the gorilla.
I take Chuck Norris versus 100 gorillas.
Oh, get out of here.
All right, he's just doing the old trope.
Do
a karate kick on a gorilla. It's going to snap his leg in half.
Chuck Norris put sunscreen on for the sun's sake. Okay? Chuck Norris is a man's man.
Who would have a better chance one-on-one versus the gorilla? Chuck Norris or Steven Seagal?
Chuck Norris.
Come on.
No, the question I want to know is who
Seagal.
wins, Chuck Norris or Steven Seagal?
Oh, I mean...
Chuck Norris.
I thought we were going to ask who wins, Chuck Norris or Matt Hamilton.
But
Chuck Norris.
Bruce Lee beats them all.
Yeah, I'll give you Bruce
Except
Lee
for
over Chuck.
Gorilla. Gorilla beats Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
Chuck Norris beats Gorilla. Bruce Lee
it's
beats
like a
Chuck
rock,
Norris.
paper, scissors.
Exactly.
Yeah, the Adam Madison says, I'm sorry, but if you think any number of unarmed men can defeat a gorilla, you're delusional. You have to apply some...
You're going to take some texters as this is fact.
No,
so
but
that's why I'm
they're
dropping
disagreeing
that.
with us. That's why we're reading them.
No, but ChatGPT and all the other ones say
It's
maybe
possible.
1 or 2 out of 100 times.
Okay, Josh
Don't
chimes
tell me
in.
the odds.
Josh DiMaggio chimes in again. He says, if we can add factors and change the game, 100 MMA fighters win 100 out of 100 times. I'm applying my own factors.
MMA fighters, get out of here. Get out of here. They are not any tougher than anyone. You get 100 football players in there, they're not winning.
But they know how to fight.
I don't care. They don't know how to fight a gorilla. I would love,
they would be better at fighting a gorilla than any of us in this room.
I would love MMA fighters to do this because I think they're incredibly selfish. I don't think they're very smart. I don't think they would work together. So even though they're human cockfighters, I think they would get beaten to a bloody pulp because they would be overconfident.
Do you know a lot of MMA fighters?
Yes.
You do?
He knows Riley Elk.
MMA fighters are like the UFC guys. They're the human cockfighters.
No, I didn't know if you knew any personally, just because the way that you reacted was
heard
very
them
personal.
Talk. I've seen them interact. I know what they are, and I guarantee they'd be overconfident.
They're human gorillas is what they are, Molly.
They would be incredibly overconfident. You'd send a bunch of people who thought they were tough to fight a gorilla and find out real quick that they ain't tough.
Kirk Benkirk said, give me Aaron Donald, J.J. Watt, Trent Williams, Chris Jones, Micah Parsons, Myles Garrett, DK Metcalf, Derrick Henry, Desmond Watson, Max Crosby, a couple more names.
Kirk Benkirk could go back.
I don't even need the rest of the 100 guys.
You have to tell us who Kirk Benkirk is because he hasn't been relevant in a very long time.
Kirk Benkert's getting his ass kicked. Kirk Benkirk also makes footballs, right?
Former Packer player who now plays video games for a living. Kirk Benkirk shared his thoughts.
Dream. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. He shared his thoughts on something everybody else is sharing his thoughts on. He just listed off some monster human beings.
They're getting destroyed.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I think if you take 100 guys off offensive and defensive lines in the NFL, you got a pretty
out of
good
100
shot.
times, how many times they would beat
As long as it's nobody
more
from
than the
Texas.
2 you would give it him.
3?
No. You're taking guys that are like 300 pounds.
Who cares? What's 300 pounds to a gorilla?
To a 180-pound guy, 120 extra pounds is a lot.
Take that for data.
Again, a gorilla, 2,000 pounds. It's killing them all. It's not even.
I'm so glad we're never going to be able to figure this out because it's one of those things that you can just like die on your hill and I'll die on mine, and it doesn't matter.
Your hill is going to be full of dead people fighting a gorilla. This is Jim, Matt, and Molly presented by Coors Light.
This is the Jim, Matt, and Molly takeover of Wilde and Tausch.
I love how you point out like fencing is not cool, but like curling, Matt, where you made fun of.
Yeah, but Matt's cool now, though. That's
He's cool
the
now.
thing.
You said in high school.
On ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Mark Tauscher here for Prize Picks, the best place to turn your sports knowledge into cash. With millions of members, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 2,000 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the best place to win cash while watching sports. Join millions of users and sign up today. Cash in on the basketball playoffs with Prize Picks. Don't miss your last chance to add your favorite players from the court to your Prize Picks lineup. Whether it's points, rebounds, assists, take your pick of more or less for your shot to win up to 2,000 times your cash today. Starting with the play-in round, every lineup you make on Prize Picks will enter you in the Takes 2 ticket sweepstakes, which could get you a +1, a VIP trip to the ship. Download the app today and use code WI to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code WI to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game.
You, rah. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin present your Badger Minute. Here's Pablo Iglesias.
This Badger Minute is brought to you by The Jump Around. Don't miss new episodes of this exclusive digital show talking all things Wisconsin sports, premiering every Thursday at 12:30, streaming live on the ESPN Madison YouTube channel. On to the Hoosier State. Hunter Wohler now an Indianapolis Colt. The former Badger changing things up. Wohler announced as a linebacker rather than a safety, his position all 4 years at Wisconsin. His words on the new challenge, audio courtesy Indianapolis Colts.
I love being near the box. I love being near the ball. I was able to play all over the field, and I think that prepared me very well. Being able to do as many things as I did at Wisconsin, I think it just gives me all the tools to be ready to jump in with Indy and do whatever I can to help get some wins.
Everyone is talking about the draft, but you won't feel one from high-quality Pella Windows. Get no-interest financing options or free glass upgrades today at PellaWI.com.
Since 1956, Holman Lindsay Paints has been making paint in Wisconsin for Wisconsin. Because of their commitment to making great paint for Wisconsinites, Holman Lindsay has grown over the years to 26 locations in this great state. Headquarters in Sun Prairie with a state-of-the-art facility, Holman Lindsay has the paint you need to make your job better. From do-it-yourself to professional, Holman Lindsay has paint for everyone. Visit one of their local locations today in Madison, Sun Prairie, Middleton, and Janesville.
Zimbrick Honda has been a proud part of the Madison community since 1973, and they're your one-stop shop for over 250 new Hondas to choose from. Whether it's the sedan, SUV, or truck, their selection of new vehicles is second to none and has exactly what you're looking for. Stop in today at their location on Fish Hatchery Road and check out the all-new 2024 Honda Prologue, Honda's first all-electric SUV, or browse their selection online at ZimbrickHonda.com. That's ZimbrickHonda.com. Shop local. Shop Zimbrick Honda.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End the friendship. Or choose chill because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
My part-time service in the Army National Guard makes it possible for me to be more for the community I call home. My training helps me at work when I lead by example. My service in the Army National Guard allows me to keep my community and those I care about safe from threats. Learn more about how you too can live and serve part-time close to home by visiting NationalGuard.com.
Sponsored by the Wisconsin Army National Guard. Aired by the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association and this station.
This is our crew.
Terrain is up, scrambling home. He's going to score, and Yelich into third. Oh, the Brewers with the double steal.
You're listening to Madison's new home for Milwaukee Brewers baseball. 100.5 ESPN.
We are tight on time. This was the Jim, Matt, and Molly takeover of Wilde and Tausch on ESPN Wisconsin. Thanks for listening. If you missed any of today's show, you can listen back on ESPN Wisconsin app. Matt Hamilton, Jim Rutledge, Molly Brown with you. And you can see us for another minute here on the ESPN Madison YouTube. Again, thanks for listening. We did ask the really hard-hitting question at the end of the show over the last half hour. Basically, who would win in a fight, 100 men or a gorilla? A few more talking text line coming through on the Carbos talking text line 844-770-3776. List is more. We have Mac in Neshota. Got to go for the eyes. Eyes for sure. Eyes, groin, then head, or eyes of the groin of the head. Okay. Then we have someone chimes in. Matt, you can answer this. 262. The Mountain from the Game of Thrones. I don't know what that is.
He's like a very big human.
Okay.
He's a bodybuilder.
I think he's a power
in real
lifter.
life. Yeah, he's like the strongest man in the world in real life, or at one point. But he is a giant. He's like gorilla sized.
Isn't his name in like Icelandic just Bjorn Strongman or something?
Something like that.
Pretty sure
Yeah,
that's
something
pretty
like that.
close.
He would get his arms ripped off by a gorilla in 2 seconds.
He's gorilla sized.
Doesn't matter.
He's like
Doesn't
Jim.
matter.
If me and you, if our arms are coming off in 2 seconds, he might last 4.
Great.
That's how big he is.
Great.
That's a big deal.
Ryan.
2 seconons. It's a long time.
Yeah.
Hey, Matt, every second
Trust me.
counts. Every second counts.
Absolutely.
A 600-pound silverback gorilla would literally tear the arms off 10 men around them in no time at all. And then the Adam Madison chimes in. A gorilla could grab a 300-pound man and swing them like a rag doll right into the 99 other guys without breaking a sweat.
Nobody is a hometown fan anymore. Cheer for mankind, people.
Because here's the other part. A gorilla is like we all. Again, the other part of this is I just have to add this. We all have humanity. We all have to you talk about soldiers and all that. They have to get the idea of being able to be a soldier. You have to train that into them. You have to remove the humanity out of them to be able to be soldiers. A gorilla doesn't have to have humanity. That means nothing to a gorilla to kill 100 men. 100 men knowing they're going to likely die to fight a gorilla has to be accounted for.
Well, that's just assuming that the gorilla is just a dumb animal.
Jerry,
I'm not saying it's a dumb animal. I'm just saying that it doesn't probably have the same morals to killing it that we do.
Jerry chimes in. He says, "What if the gorilla's name was Chuck Norris?"
Oh, done.
Then you're cooked.
Humanity's over.
You're as cooked
1,000
as the
people
Bucks
were
are.
cooked.
All right. Well, hopefully the Milwaukee Bucks are not cooked tonight. Just hopefully they play without Giannis, in my opinion. But if they play without Giannis and keep him healthy, then go Bucks. But you can listen to the Bucks on ESPN Madison at 4:30 pregame and WTMJ the same. Thanks for listening. It's been Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light.
Miss any of today's episode of Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin? Commercial